Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA boxing transmission. This is your host, Mr. BDA. Glad to have you on board. Just checked my levels so that there's no extra audio in the background. Hey guys, at least I wasn't playing porn in the background. German scat porn. That would have been very embarrassing indeed. This is your host, Mr. BDA. I know there's music on, but it's not the same one. Look, I can put this one down. Let's there you go, see? No more music in the background. Now, I'm broadcasting to you live from the True North. You guys know who I am, Mr. BDA. My co-host, King Bucho, will be joining us shortly. Guys, you know the drill. If you want to join us, go to Google Hangouts, send us an instant message with the email address on the top of your screen, boxingdebate@hotmail.com. That is boxingdebate@hotmail.com. You better come in fast because the spots here at BDA do go by like hotcakes. Alright, hotcakes. So yeah, we're just doing another little bit of a podcast here. It's been a while since we haven't done one. And of course, for anybody that was listening a couple of minutes ago, we had to restart this thing.
Let's go again!
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You're unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
you're unfucking believable.
Alright, Christian Bale's giving me crap here. People are enjoying the World Cup. I hope you're enjoying it. It's been a good one so far. A couple of upsets, a couple of competitive matches. And of course, we just had Viktor Postol losing, or rather, let's switch it up. Josh Taylor winning against Viktor Postol. He took a big leap. Josh Taylor, he took a big leap and was able to get himself a win by decision. He managed to drop Postol, but I'm getting the feeling here from people's comments that they think that there was some, how shall I say, corruption going on. So we're going to talk about that. Let's give a shout out to everybody. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out our Patreon page. Don't forget to give small tips via the super chat feature so we can get, because we're planning on this call-in show where people can call in, but it costs money to set up a line of that sort, a telephone line where we can take phone calls. So we're trying to get that off the ground so we can get telephone calls from different people. You never know, we might get some interesting subjects, and by interesting I mean crazy. I'm not saying we're one to attract psychos, but it does make for a good show. Alright, shout out to Steelhammer, Dr. Steelhammer that is, Mean Machine Mash, The Shepherd of Sons, Race Car D, Cameron Gillen, or as I call him, Cameron Gillian, that's how he's known in these parts, Joey Ocean, Hakuna Matata, Dr. Steelhammer, Rod Davies, and King Butcher saying, tip and make BDA great again. What do you mean, again? What do you mean, again? It was... you know what, I can't do this today. Alright, so, again, Viktor Postol lost. A bit of an upset, I suppose. Well, actually, I don't know what the odds were before the fight. I do know that most fans thought Josh Taylor was going to be too strong for Postol. I gotta tell you, though, Postol, he did better than I thought he was going to. A lot better. So he fought his heart out, but it just wasn't enough in Scotland, in Taylor's hometown. Taylor goes up to 13-0. He improves to that with 11 knockouts. He went 12 rounds for the first time in his career. Postol drops to 29-2. His only other loss was to Terence Crawford. The scorecards, this is where people are having a bit of a problem in terms of the fight. 118-110, 117-110, and 119-108 for Taylor. Taylor, like I said, he dropped Postol. But I gotta tell you, watching the fight, I did get the sense that it should have been it was a more competitive fight than the scorecards reflected. Oh, Brandon White. Shout out to Brandon White, donated $5 through the super chat feature. He says, here's a little more towards the call-in show. You and Bucho are doing great. So thanks again, Brandon White. That money is going to go to good use. Call-in show. That's I gotta give the credit. That's all Bucho masterminding the whole thing there. He's the one that is doing the research and saying that it can be done. And other boxing shows do it. What are some people saying in the chat room? Taylor was around 110 to win, says FNC Bot. Alright, that's good to know. There was also the Martin Murray versus Roberto Garcia fight. Apparently that already took place, or is it taking place right now? Pavel says, yeah, that Corona money. We're not using money to buy beer. I don't drink beer. Hardly drink any alcohol nowadays anyway. Hop says 119, 108. That is wide. Yeah, I tell you, man, those scorecards do not reflect the true nature of the fight. And by the way, I'm looking at my hangouts here, and I see we get. Okay, Stu was there, and then he left. Probably jumping in again later on. Corona ain't beer, it's juice. Yeah, that's what's up. That's yeah. Again, you can change the words of whatever object you want nowadays. Yeah, no, there's no more boundaries about what is what. So there it is. So again, listen, I was wrong on a couple of things here, but let's start out with what I got right. Both guys did what they had to. Josh Taylor tried to work the body. He tried to come forward. And he really tried to get Postol out of his element. Postol does not like it when he has to lead, but neither does he like to fight way too close. He's not that good an inside fighter. And that's what Taylor was trying to do. But Postol did better than expected in terms of keeping it outside. We knew that that's what he was going to try to do, or that that's what he had to do. But he did a good job of throwing combinations, working that jab overtime to keep Taylor away. And he went to the body a couple of times himself, so very good. Taylor, on the other hand, displaying head movement, switch hitting, trying to catch Postol off guard. And remember, Postol is not comfortable leading, which is why that's how he got caught a couple of times in this fight. And that's why Crawford was able to beat him. That's why Crawford was able to beat him. Because he was making him, i.e. Postol, lead. And Postol is not... I'm comfortable doing that, and when you do that and you drop him, you sort of take him out of his element. He tends to overshoot the distance a little bit. So it was a very good fight from Crawford. Taylor, on the other hand, in terms of the inexperience he has, he did very well for himself as well. So got to give a shout out to him. All right, so I see we've got Cameron on the line.
Fuck, mate, it's life, man. You only live once. Make the most of life. Enjoy it. Because everybody's got their weird fetishes, man. And mine just happens to be eating fucking ass.
That's right. What a classy intro. Cameron, are you there?
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Not much. Just good to have you on board. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the Burchelt fight. It's starting at 11 p.m. Eastern. So if you put that into UK time, that's probably going to be, well, like 4, almost close to 4 a.m., right? So it's not that great a matchup on paper. Are you going to try to stay up for that one, or?
Nah, I'm not staying up for that, nah.
Nah. We'll watch tomorrow, Sunday. Why not? All right. I heard you were complaining a little bit in the chat room. What exactly were you complaining about the Taylor decision and the scorecards, or did something happen between Murray? Okay.
No, I didn't watch Murray and Garcia. Fuck that fight, man. That was such a bad fight. No one cares about that fight. But what I was saying was the scorecards, man. It was such a great fight. Taylor and Postol. Yeah, I thought it could have gone either way. You know, I thought Postol, you know, done really well. No, much better than I thought. I picked Taylor to stop him. And Postol, for me, you know, he just showed how good he is. He's still serious business. But those scorecards are shambles. An absolute shambles, because you've got two guys going in there at the top of their game, proving that when you get two fights at the top of their game, you're going to get excellent fights, close fights, competitive fights, and fights where people can, you know, debate who they think won the fight. And then you get these paid-off judges who are giving Postol one round, when arguably, you know, some people thought Postol won the fight. And this seems to be a trend that's going on in Scotland in a minute. You go back to, you know, Ricky Burns against Relic, Ricky Burns against Beltran, wide scorecards, pathetic scorecards to a home fighter, and who would really want to come to the UK? Really, as an away fight, who wants to come to the UK now? Because you've got all these bullshit scorecards given away. It happens all the time. It happens all over. Bad for it now. Cards against they're already put and happened. And you got someone like Viktor Postol, who's a world-class fighter, who really a lot was on the line for him tonight. And it was a competitive fight. Some people thought he won the fight, and I'm not just going to say he got robbed because it was a close fight, but the judges robbed him of, you know, of a real sort of what the fight should have reflected. It was a close fight, and the scorecards don't reflect that. So for me, these judges need sorting out. We say this over and over again, but for me, someone like Viktor Postol, congrats to Josh Taylor. You know, I thought he deserved to win the fight. But that's going to be damaging for Postol, for the fact that he's going to, you know, at the end of the day, in the record books, you know, it's going to say that he lost, you know, wide when he didn't. You know, this is the problem with scorecards. They're going to continue to fuck people over. And it's just not good for the sport, and it put a blemish on an excellent fight. That's just how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, man. The scorecards were, but then again, can we be so surprised? The fight was taking place in Scotland, and was it actually? I know it's his home country, but was it in his hometown as well, or?
Yeah, it was in Scotland. Yeah, it was in Glasgow. But the problem is with it's just horrible because as soon as the knockdown happened, you thought, okay, Taylor's probably done enough to get the hometown result now.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. It was a close fight, and Taylor got the knockdown. But 119 to 108, it's just we're talking about judges who have had their scorecards, filled out at the start of the rounds because someone gave Postol the first round, Josh Taylor the next 10 rounds in a row. Where does that come from? How can you score that 10 rounds to Josh Taylor out of 11 rounds?
Mm-hmm.
Before the 12. Where is that? It's all corruption. You know what I mean? And this is what I hate about boxing when this happens because your top fighters coming over abroad. You didn't have to come over here, and Postol came over here. A big world title shot on the line if he won this fight, and this happens. I'm not saying it was a close fight, but no, the scorecards are shambles, and I feel for Postol. I really do.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I mean, it is a shame when I mean, because it was a close fight, and if you want to have Taylor winning, that's fine. But like you said, when you see those scorecards and you think, well, there was no way Postol was going to win this fight unless he iced Taylor. Yeah, that's why I understand why you're upset about it. And I understand also why Precise has taken a bit of a break out of off of boxing, because how much bullshit can you take? I mean, I know some people are going to say that this is just business as usual, the hometown fighter getting the benefit of the doubt on the scorecards, or a wide benefit of the doubt. But it really is dubious and suspect. And the fact that they put in Ian Jan Lewis, whom the commentators were praising, I don't know what they're praising him for. This time,
I had Postol winning after 5 rounds. So what I mean. I had Postol winning after 5 rounds. So for them to have the 119 to 108, it's just horrible, man. And to be honest with you, I mean, it gives Josh Taylor a bad look as well, because this is a guy who just goes in and does the job in the ring. These fighters always get the brunt of it after. When the fight comes back on social media, you got the fans saying, "Oh, what a robbery! You robbed the guy," and stuff like that. But really, they just go in there and do the job. They do the fighting. But the judges put a bad blemish on them, and this is a problem as well. And Postol, it's just another case of he'll probably go back to the dressing room thinking he just got robbed. To be honest with you, big time, and arguably he did, because the scorecards aren't a reflection of what the fight was, and it's a shame because Postol's a pro. He showed that he's still a top level fighter tonight. He looked really bad in his last fight. Quite a few people of us have seen it, and he went in there and he really put Taylor under it. And Postol, like I said on Twitter, he still proved he's serious business in the sport, but he really got a bad end of the stick tonight, and I feel for him.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a bit of a moot point because Viktor Postol didn't seem to complain about the decision, so he felt like it was the right call. But it's really the numbers, 119, 107. I mean, come on. So essentially, even with even if Postol would have dropped him a couple of times, it still would not have been even close in the scorecard, in the official one. So
no, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That is the problem, exactly. I'm just trying to put it into context here. I see we also have Recognize the Matrix and Pavel on the line.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Glad to have you on board. Did you watch the fight? Let's start with Pavel, because I think you were here a little bit earlier. Did you watch the fight, and what did you think of the action and the decision?
Oh yeah, hi everybody. I did watch the fight indeed, and oh yeah, Postol did very well, just like Cameron said before. He was tagging Taylor with his jab like throughout most of the fight, which what I was quite surprised about, since Taylor has pretty good head movement, and Postol was able to time him. But yeah, the scorecards were ridiculous. What else? Look, I had this fight scoring live 7-5 for Taylor. I think the knockdown made the difference. But no matter how well Postol might have performed in the fight, unless he got a knockout or multiple knockdowns or a stoppage, he wouldn't win this fight on a fair ground.
Yeah, exactly. That's the, like I said. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm looking at the scorecards here. Hold on a second. They were 118, 110, 117, 110. I mean, yeah, 118, 110,
Yeah.
117, 110, 119, 108.
Sorry about that.
So I mean, no way he was going to win that fight. Even if he scored 2 knockdowns, it wasn't even going to be close. He would have had to score 3, 4, or so. I mean, ridiculous. Recognize. What about you, man? What did you think about the fight?
Didn't see the fight.
You didn't see the fight.
I didn't see it.
Are you surprised?
I just heard.
Yeah.
No, I'm not surprised with the scorecards. I mean, I didn't see the fight, so I can't really comment. But I'll take Cameron's word for it. And did Pavel give his opinion? Did he watch the fight?
Yeah, he shares. Pavel shares Cameron's sentiments about how the scorecards were just too goddamn wide, just too wide. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to curse, but I mean it is what it is. It's a very dubious decision. I mean, look, I think the right guy won, but the fact that, like Cameron says, it's those scorecards were already filed in.
Sounds that way.
They were filled
I
in
mean,
before the fight.
was there a knockdown in the fight?
Yeah, Taylor dropped Postal. Taylor dropped Postal. Yeah, I think I cut off there.
Okay.
But yeah, he dropped him, I believe, in somewhere around after the middle rounds. So listen, let's get to that. Taylor has. All right, I think I'm cutting off here. Hold on a second. All right.
You sound good now.
All right, cool. Taylor did what he had to do. He came forward. He worked the body. There were certain times where he took off the foot off the pedal and started, dancing around a little bit, moving his head more, But Postol worked his ass off, man. He was throwing that jab overtime. He was throwing combinations, going to the body, finishing upstairs. Like, it was a very active Viktor Postol, and that's a bit. I understand why Pavel and Cameron are a little bit disappointed with the scorecards, because this guy fought his ass off, came in prepared. I thought he was weak mentally and that he was gonna bend over at some point or just collapse, and he didn't. He stood his ground, fought back. He got a little careless, but at the end of the day, I think he proved that he's one of the top junior welterweights in the world. Here's the problem, though, for Josh Taylor. I give him a lot of credit for fighting Miguel Vasquez, having another fight, and then all of a sudden jumping up in huge level against Viktor Postol. But he does have displayed a couple of weaknesses here against a very savvy fighter. In a video that we did, I compared him to Errol Spence. I think that comparison, I obviously didn't say he was exactly like Errol Spence, but I think it's obvious now, looking at Errol Spence, that Errol Spence does a much better job of controlling the distance, parrying shots, blocking shots with his hands, just picking them off, and he doesn't get hit as much as Taylor got hit. Now, again, to be fair, Errol Spence had about 20-something fights when he took on Kell Brook, while Josh Taylor's, this was his 13th professional fight. So, guys, what do you think about Josh Taylor? Is he the top contender if he does indeed enter the 140-pound tournament? Or do you think that's still Prograis' tournament to win?
I got to watch the fight with Postol before I make a comment like that. But here's my question to you: Did you think he did as good of a job as Terence Crawford, or a little less than that?
Well, let's see, guys. Who wants to go on that one? Did you guys hear the question, or?
Okay, I may go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I think Terence Crawford did a better job. He didn't get hit as much as Taylor did. All in all, I think Taylor would do quite good in the tournament. I'm not sure if he would win, but he's definitely one of the better contenders out there.
Did you just ask me if they're better contenders, or did you say that? Did you state that?
No, that was a statement.
Okay, yeah. I agree with that. I mean, then again, listen. Question for you guys: Prograis is really his best high-profile win was against Indongo. Then again, Indongo is a very awkward fighter. I'm not taking anything away from Prograis, but we did see Taylor look very good against Vasquez. And then now look at this. He struggled against the former #1 guy in the division. So maybe we should see progress against somebody else before we start talking about how good he really is. Because some people are making that to be that he's already the #1. Ring Magazine, I think, has him rated as the #1 guy just because he beat Indongo. So what do you guys think? I mean, this Taylor versus, like, if they fought right now, fuck the tournament. If they fought right now, Taylor versus Progrise, who would you give the edge to?
That's hard to say because really I'm judging Progrise on 2 performances.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I'm always forgetting the Spanish kid's name. Diaz? Fuck. I saw him fight a Spanish kid that's I think his father was a boxer, his father was a trainer. One of the two. Anyway, he stopped that dude, and then of course the Indongo demolition that he did his last fight. Josh Taylor, obviously he's young in his career. He looks really fast. You know, he looks like he could. I got to watch the Postol fight. If he beat Postol pretty legit, I give him a good shot. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I don't want to just base it off one performance. He beat Postol legitimately, but you know, like you said, Postol is still a top 10 or probably a top 5 junior welterweight. And if you could beat him convincingly, yeah, I'll give him a shot against Prograis.
Yeah, okay. So Brandon White is telling me that it's pronounced Prograis, not Progrise. So I'll keep calling him Progrise just because that's the way I roll, and I do what the fuck I want around here. But yeah, so apparently it's Prograis.
Tell him.
It sounds a lot like pro-gay, and there's nothing wrong with being gay, but I'm just saying it's very close to that, and that's why I prefer to call him Prograis. No, actually, that sounds the same. Progrise. Yeah, Progrise sounds better. Let's just put it that way. You know, you mentioned a good point that you want to see those fights before. I'm trying to look up the name of that Spanish kid that you talked about, but look, I liked what Taylor was able to do in this fight. He tried to set a good game plan, and Postol had a good game plan as well. Fought a very controlled fight. But I tell you, Postol, his problem is that when he comes forward, his technique goes out the window. He comes in with both hands down, chin up a little bit in the air, and he since he's a taller guy, he tends to get caught with overhand shots. And it seems like nobody's ever told him yet how to repair that. Was he? I was watching something else in between corners, in between rounds. So is Freddie Roach? Can anybody answer me this question? Is Freddie Roach still with Postol? Anybody?
Is Freddie Roach still training Postol?
Yeah.
That I'm not sure. I thought he
stopped.
Right. I thought they. Let me see.
I didn't see him in the corner in tonight's fight.
Who was in his? Oh, M-Star says they parted ages ago. Wasn't Free Roach with Postol when he beat Mati? But then again, yeah, you're right. That was 2015. So who the hell was training him now then? Some Eastern European guy?
I would imagine.
You would imagine, yeah. I'm getting no help today from you guys. What the fuck's going on? Karen, well, I mean, look.
Fucking suck today.
Recognize you didn't watch the fights and everything. You got no access because I don't have access. Like, something's going on here that if I start trying to search things.
I'm looking at his. Let me see.
Anyway, it's not. It ain't important. M-Star again helping me out says it's his native trainer. His native. Why don't you just say his ethnic trainer? That sounds better. It sounds more exotic. By the way, people in the chat room, most of them are giving the edge to Progrise over Taylor. That's right, I said Progrise. What do you want from me? And Kaiser Koba says, Postol hurt Taylor and Progrise will find those opportunities to land his power. Taylor needs more experience. Again, to be fair, he jumped from, in his 13th fight, he jumped from fighting Miguel Vasquez, who was a very good opponent, to a guy, Postol, who used to be the #1 guy in the division, probably still considered, or was considered the #2 before this fight. Better skills than Vasquez, better power. Oh, and by the way, he did hurt, Postol managed to hurt, what's his name, Taylor. I think it was in the 6th or 7th round. He really had him a little bit on like Taylor did well. He grabbed immediately, tried to buy some time. He wasn't spaghetti-legged all that much, but he was staggering a little bit. So he showed good experience there and good composure in immediately grabbing and trying to smother the taller, longer men. But I tell you, Progrise, he does look to be a bit of like the stronger guy in there. Just overall stronger. Like M-Star
I
says,
want to see when Progride gets hit. That's what I want to see.
boxing
See
is
how
me
he
as
reacts.
Sergey Lipinets versus Taylor. That would be a bit of a good test. That would be a good test. Like boxing styles, I was saying, he thinks Lipinets rates him highly, and Lipinets can hit hard. You know, he did mark what's his name, Garcia, up a little bit there. So he's got good precision. He's a nice loose fighter, good upper body movement. He knows how to roll with right hands. So we'll have to see what type of fight that could be. But then again, let's get to the important part here, which is that Taylor's probably gonna get in that 140-pound tournament, which is going to include some really tough opposition, man. Let me tell you, there's gonna be Baranchik is gonna be there. Progrise has already agreed to be. Troyanovsky, kind of the weak link of the tournament, but he's a veteran nonetheless. Then you have Yigit, who's a Swedish southpaw, not a big powerful puncher. He only has 7 KOs out of 21 wins. But again, southpaw, good skills. You never know what he could do. Then you have, of course, Josh Taylor. And there is the unknown factor, Ryan Martin. Not to be confused with Maurice Hooker, who just won a title last week or a couple of weeks ago. This is Ryan Martin, 22-0, 12 knockouts. We still don't know.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
from the Hooker that won that fight against Flanagan. So, I guess you could throw him in the tournament. I don't know. Is he interested in entering that tournament?
Every fighter that I told you here, it's most of them. I think Ryan Martin says he's interested in it. So is Josh Taylor. But nothing has been agreed to on paper, as I understand it.
Didn't Viktor Postol and Prograde was supposed to fight, but I guess Postol didn't want that fight.
Yeah, apparently it's Postol that
wasn't that. Yeah, that's what I remember hearing too.
Let me tell you something. I'm more excited about this. If they pull off the 140-pound tournament with that list of fighters that I just told you, I'm more excited about that one than the 118-pound tournament. Because 118, who do they really have? Inoue, Tate, and that's really it. I mean, there are a couple of British fighters, but other than that, I don't see that much. Like, this one is more evenly matched with Progrise and... hold on a second. All right. With Progrise and Taylor being the two front runners. But then you have Baranchik, who's very tough indeed. Then you have Ryan Martin, who's a bit of like the dark horse. I mean, that's a better tournament in my opinion. So that's the thing. Now, again, I'm trying to look up here the... Yeah, because at bantamweight, you have Ryan Burnett, Naya Inoue, Zolani Tate. Oh, no, sorry, I forgot. Emmanuel Rodriguez is in that tournament. He does have a very good chance of making something happen in that one. I think he's a bit of an underrated commodity, maybe unknown. Maybe most Americans haven't seen him fight, so they don't know who he is. He did fight in England a couple of weeks ago and pulled off a very good win over there. So he's got boxing skills, good hand speed, power, acceptable, respectable power. So yeah, so guys, that's a 140-pound fight there. Again, Postol, that's a good question that Pavel asked, or was it recognized, about who did better, Crawford against Postol or Taylor against Postol. Pavel, did you answer that one?
Yeah, I asked the question, and I think Pavel said that he thinks Crawford did better.
Now, here's my question to you, Pavel. Do you think, because I know we've had people here say before that they don't rate Crawford's win all that high because he moved too much against Postol, but what else was he supposed to do? Like, what's your opinion about that win?
Crawford's win over Postol.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, it was garbage to me.
Wait, that was garbage to you?
Yeah,
hold on. Go ahead, Pavel.
Well, I mean...
Oh, actually, sorry. I said Pavel. Pavel, did you finish? Because I didn't hear an answer.
Sorry, go ahead, Pavel.
Yeah, I didn't hear an answer. What's going on today?
Look, I don't really that's not a benchmark fight to judge Crawford's whole boxing skills, uh, because there's a lot of bullshittery in the fight regarding Crawford running away from Postol. Um, there were some shenanigans in the fight, like rabbit punch knockdowns.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. It was not that fight was not clean enough for me to really rate Terence Crawford. To rate his win over Postol. Like really, the ideal scenario for me would be the fight happening in neutral grounds and with a competent referee and all that.
Well, would it be fair to say that this, even without the referee and all that, that Crawford still would have won that fight?
Look, he wouldn't win. um, uh, of course, he would probably win. Um, he has an awkward style after all, but you know, for me, there's too big of a cloud hovering over this win for Crawford to really assess his supposed dominance at 140. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I didn't like the knockdowns. I think one may have been legit. I got to go back, but there was like another one that was like just pure bullshit.
Hmm.
Um, where he just like dragged him down. He like punched him. He rabbit punched, but dragged him down from the back of the head, and the referee called it a knockdown, from what I remember. So it's got to be cleaner than that.
The first knockdown was definitely a bizarre one. It was like Crawford caught him behind the head, like he clipped him behind the head and pushed him down a little bit. That was a disputed one. The second one, he actually did stun Postal, and that's again. Kaiser Cowboy saying, I think Crawford hurt Postal and then Crawford completely outboxed him after that. The thing is, Postal was doing very well in the first, I think it was 4 or 5 rounds maybe. That once he actually got dropped, that's where his game plan went out the window, and he felt like he had to come forward to get his points back, and that's where Crawford just took over. It wasn't a complete, it wasn't a beating or anything. It was just Crawford doing enough with his single shots to win. Now, Corruption in boxing, shout out to Corruption, says a ring is an enclosed space. If a fighter is running it, it is down to his opponent to cut it off. And I agree. I mean, look, this isn't a fight. It's not a real fight. Yes, they are fighting. There's a risk of a knockout and serious injury, but it's a boxing fight at the end of the day. So if a guy chooses to stick and move and all that, that's why I don't get when people say like, "Oh, this guy's running. It doesn't count." Well, it's boxing. It's not a street fight. And
I
even
mean, if you're moving, if you're using the ring to back off and you're countering your opponent, which Crawford was doing at times at the fight, the decision to me was fine. I just didn't like the way the fight was fought. In other words, I don't think that was Terrence's benchmark win. Like, I wouldn't say, oh, you want to see a great Terence Crawford performance, right? If I want to introduce someone to Terence Crawford, I wouldn't pick the Postol fight, right? Like, that's not a fight that I would pick. I would pick another one where, he's landing like Felix. Is it Felix Diaz?
yeah.
Oh, man, I'm forgetting the fucking names today. I don't know what's going on.
You're not the only one, man. You're not the only one.
Where he totally outboxed him, outdominated him, and everything. I would point them to a fight like that. I'm not going to point them to Viktor Postol, where I think casual fans have a better sense of. They have a better sense because they don't really have a. They don't have a horse in the race. They don't really care about these third, fourth criteria scoring boxing. They're more into the 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree, man. But again, like
that's what they're more into. But again, I'm not saying he won the fight. He won the fight. It's just not the best win. It's not his best win.
Can I say one thing regarding my comment on running around the ring? Crawford's, that is. I'm not saying that's not a legitimate tactic. I'm saying that he could choose a better one and win in a better fashion than just running around the ring and pot shotting, which he
Mhm.
did.
Well, listen, here's my take on that because Crawford is not the type of guy that's gonna walk you down. He did it against Felix Diaz once he had him softened up. He did it against Dirigeant once he had him softened up. But he's more of a counterpunch, a natural counterpunch. So I think that it was in his best interest not to walk Postol down because Postol wanted to catch him coming in. And Terence Crawford isn't necessarily a good inside fighter himself. I mean, he knows how to neutralize guys' inside game, the other people's inside game with holding and all that. But he's more of a, he wants long range fighting himself. And I think it was a very good plan of making Postol lead, getting uncomfortable, and then countering over that, over his left hands. I mean, over Postol's right hand. So I thought, yeah, listen, it wasn't the most entertaining fight. It wasn't the most entertaining display of fighting from Terence Crawford. But at least the way I see it is, it wasn't a... Because here's the thing. Let's go back to that. There's a difference, yes. There is such a thing as running when it comes to boxing. Like when you see a guy like Andre Dirrell versus Curtis Stevens, that was running. Because he's moving excessively where he doesn't have to. Or, help me out here. Another example of a guy clearly running. Like Guillermo Rigondeaux, for example, a little bit. With that Filipino guy that he fought on the undercard of Cotto Canelo. Like that was like, why are you moving so much against a guy like that? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes there is such a thing. Yeah, go ahead, Pavel.
You know, for me, the difference between running and retreating is when you run, you constantly break your stance, right? You don't have a balance. You cross your feet. You just move around too much without really setting down on your stance and be ready to throw punches. And even on the fly, like you don't really punch going in whatever direction while you run. That's basically because you have no opportunities because your stance is constantly breaking up. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, to me, when I see running, and this is from my experience, my personal, when I would run from a boxing fight, it was usually when I was a little too nervous, when I was actually getting too nervous because of the opponent in front of me. I felt like, you know, if he hits me with something, I could get hurt or maybe even dropped. Now, that doesn't mean you can't win a fight that way. You could. Sometimes you could. I like when a guy's backpedaling, landing clean and flush punches, right? Which Terence Crawford did in moments in that fight. Obviously, that's why I thought he won. But I just thought that he showed too much nervousness in that fight and did a little, you know, just the pushing, grabbing somebody behind the head and scoring it a knockdown. Look, to me, just not. That's not part of boxing. That's my opinion. But I thought he won the fight. I thought he won the boxing match. I don't have a problem with that.
I agree.
See, that's the thing, because people in the chat room are saying, like Quincy Pignola asks, what's the difference between running and being defensive? It's a question of excessive movement, and there's levels of being a defensive fighter, or of being a good defensive fighter. For example, what James Toney used to do is incredibly difficult. To stand in front of a guy and using upper body movement and rolling the shoulders and making them miss and making them pay, that's extremely hard. That's why you don't see every single guy that walks in there do it. Because at the level that they're at, professional fighters, it's very hard to do it. When you have a guy like James Toney doing it, that's because he's a marvel. It's one of those few guys that can do it. Mayweather, when he would fight on the inside or against the ropes, like for example, he spent a lot of time in the lower weight, something like against Jesus Chavez, for example. He fought off the ropes a lot and was able to outfight Chavez there. But when he went in there against Canelo, and Cotto, when he went in there against Cotto, and Cotto was very well conditioned, throwing a lot of punches, working that jab on overtime, he caught a lot of punishment Mayweather did, but he still made Cotto miss more than land. So that was a good display from Mayweather of boxing. The way he fought Maidana, excessive movement a little bit, especially in the second fight. Yeah, go ahead, recognize.
Yeah, he was extremely. You see, that's why a lot of Floyd Mayweather fans that I've encountered, a lot of times they talk about things that really don't have anything to do with boxing when it comes to Mayweather. Some of his greatest performance, in my opinion, just my opinion, right, was when he got hurt.
Mm,
Because when he would get hurt, he would show that he can fight. Like
exactly.
Mayweather could stand his ground and fight. That's something he's taught the old school way. He was taught the old school way by his family. So pure example of that was the Shane Mosley fight when he was basically knocked out on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? He came forward. People don't realize how smart that is. Had he backed up, he would have been on the ending of those punches. Another very aggressive Shane Mosley, who was old and probably not the same anymore. But at that moment, you don't want to be on the end of that of Shane Mosley punching you at the ending of those punches. So what did he do? He smothered his punches. He came forward and fought back.
Similarly, in Zab Judah fight.
Yeah, the Zab Judah fight, the Cotto fight, the Cotto fight. He did the same thing. He fought back because he had to. He realized that he can't just keep backing up, right? He just can't keep backing up because Cotto probably had his timing down. In other words, like he's always been good at fighting guys that back up a lot. Cotto, that is. And the Zab Judah fight too. The Zab Judah fight, when he got, remember that knockdown?
Yeah.
That the referee missed.
Mm-hmm.
He was aggressive right after that. Right after that, he became aggressive and won the fight. And to me, was about to stop Zab Judah if Zab Judah doesn't punch him in the balls. I think Zab.
I agree.
Because, yeah, I mean, I think Zab punched him in the balls because and there was like a little bit of animosity at the time between the two. And he's probably like, man, I don't want to get stopped by this motherfucker, you know. So get him in the balls.
Yeah, he punched him in the nuts, man, and that's one of my favorite Floyd Mayweather fights. Because again, people go like, "Oh, well, you like rewatching Mayweather fights?" Fuck, I mean, listen, there's a lot of Mayweather haters out there, just like there's Lomachenko and Triple G haters. Everybody, no matter who you are, you're gonna get haters. Mayweather didn't fight in a boring style all the time. He did come forward. The Zab Judah fight, the Chop Corley fight. Shamber Mitchell, like you mentioned, guys, Shane Mosley. He against Victor Ortiz, he was very aggressive as well. I mean, that's why I thought he was going to be more aggressive against Pacquiao, because almost all the time every time he fought southpaws, or most of the time rather, he would try to push them back, except the Guerrero fight. I don't think he won. I think he knew Guerrero could fight on the inside. I think he saw the Guerrero-Berto fight and said, you know what? I don't want to look Chinese after the fight, so I'm just going to box him from the outside. But you're right. I mean, that Zab Judah fight, to put into context for people out there, Zab Judah had just lost to Carlos Baldomir, but it was an upset. I think it was the upset of 2005. Zab Judah was not supposed to lose against the unknown Argentinian, but then Zab Judah showed up. He took the Mayweather fight immediately on short money, but he came in shape. And back in those days, remember, Zab Judah he hadn't been beaten down by Cotto. He hadn't been beaten down by Joshua Clottey or by Amir Khan. So he was still a bit of a guy that, hey, if he comes in shape, he's going to give a lot of guys problems. So he showed up in shape against Mayweather, and he did what he had to. He had faster hands. He made Mayweather lead and tried to counter with his quicker hands, slightly quicker hands. And then Mayweather just little by little starts figuring out what Judah was countering with, nullifying it. And then he started working the body, and it was like Recognize said, if it wasn't for the low blow, Mayweather would have probably stopped Judah, because he was putting a beating on him. He had him bleeding from the nose, body shots, everything. It was a fantastic performance. So, yeah, man, sometimes some guys know how to fight coming forward. Like, I think Crawford knows how to put pressure and cut off the ring, but he's not going to be able to do it against every fighter. That's the mark of a versatile boxer, a boxer who knows how to fight a certain style depending on the fighter, or his opponent rather. And I think Crawford shows that.
Bro, when you see, that's what I mean about the a lot of, and of course I'm talking about the past. A lot of the Mayweather fans that I've encountered, really, they would talk about fights like, look what he did to Carlos Baldomir. I'm like, what did he do? He ran. The fights that stick out to me, I mean, you want to give him the fight, fine, whatever. He won the fight because he punched him more while running. Fine, I'm cool with that. I'm talking about when it comes to when I think about Mayweather's finest moments is when he had to use number one and number two boxing criteria to win the fight, which is land the clean, effective punches and stand his ground, meaning being the ring general, the the true meaning of being a ring general, which is controlling the fight. Yeah, you can control the fight on your back foot and hitting your opponent with clean shots, but a lot of times Mayweather was praised for shots for fights that he was just basically running around and landing pop shots. You know what I'm saying? Those are not like all-time great performance. When I think of all-time great, I think of, when talking about Mayweather, I think of Miguel Cotto, I think of Zab Judah, of course, in his earlier days, Corrales. But the fights where he was in trouble, where he looked like he was in trouble in the fight and he had to make an adjustment, and he dominated the fight.
You know, another fight that gets a little bit underrated, even though it was the biggest fight ever at the time, was the Mayweather-De La Hoya performance that he put on. He really, he didn't run in that fight. He did stand in front of the bigger guy and just jabbed him, and then he actually put some combinations together. Remember, he hurt De La Hoya off the ropes with a counter right hand?
Yeah, he did.
And then he also hurt him with a left hook.
I wouldn't say hurt him. I say he buzzed him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he stunned him a little bit. Stunned him. He wasn't like, he buckled his knees a little bit, but De La Hoya, who always had a great chin, was bounced right back. Like he didn't. Yeah. He wasn't doing the.
Yeah, Mayweather never had a chance. Mayweather never had a chance of knocking him out. That was never gonna happen. Yeah,
it would have been very, very hard. And he also hurt De La Hoya to the body.
He would have broke his hand.
Yeah, that's true. Him and those brittle hands of his. I think they're made of ice or something. I don't know. Or glass, rather. But yeah, it's Mayweather really had himself a good career. He was versatile. He knew how to fight. Another interesting little detail here about the Zab Judah fight. Apparently, Mayweather did know what it took to beat Judah, because there was a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but that was in an article that I'd read at the time, which was that one time Mayweather and Judah had sparred. I think this was back when Judah was. I don't know if it was before the Corey Spinks fights or afterwards, but supposedly Mayweather beat the shit out of him. And I have to assume that he did it the same way he did in the actual fight, which is on the inside. I always get the impression, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I always get the impression Judah wasn't a good inside fighter.
No. He can catch you with some fucking fast uppercuts in his better days, but no, if he's not catching you with that shot, he's not beating you on the inside.
No. Yeah, I didn't really see that much of a craft displayed by Judah regarding fighting on the inside, really. I mean, except some single shots, like Recognized just said.
But that's the thing about Judah, is he had a mean counter left uppercut. Remember that left uppercut he caught Cotto with in the first or second round? Yeah, that was a huge. Like, I'm surprised Cotto took it, because his chin is so. Or he did it against Matisse as well. He caught him with a flush one, right on the chin, snapped his head back, and he just smiled at Judah. I mean, usually that means, I felt it, but the fact that he didn't buckle or anything, yeah. So that left uppercut was pretty. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Pavel.
I was just gonna say that Cotto is sometimes people don't notice that, but he's a physically strong welterweight.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
He's very physically strong, and especially against Zab Judah. He got in trouble in that fight, and we saw what Cotto did.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about Judah, is once you get past his
nuts.
Oh yeah, those nut shots as well. Yeah, and another fight with good nut shots from Cotto this time, giving Judah a bit of a taste of his own medicine. But the thing about Judah was this: if you could get past his left hand, his counter left hand, or neutralize it, and you got inside and started going to his body, he sort of froze. He froze on the spot, which is interesting.
Zab was a front runner. He's a front runner.
Absolutely.
Always has been. Like once it's like the best terminology I can use is baseball. Like a pitcher could show you some tricks for the first 3 innings, but then after a while you start watching what he's doing. It's the same routine, and then he gets shelled. He gets hit by all the big hitters afterwards that seen him the second time around. That's basically Zab Judah. The first 3 rounds, the first 4 rounds, you get the rhythm of his timing, and you pretty much had him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, he always seemed to me like a guy who just fell in love with his own physical traits like speed, right? And he
Right.
left himself open too much, so that basically costed him his infamous loss to Kostyadzu.
That was the greatest. He did. He's the first guy to do the stinky leg. You ever heard that song, the stinky leg?
Yeah.
He
Barely,
came up with
man.
that shit.
If I had to show somebody the prime example of baby deer legs, that would be the fight.
Yeah, that is the pinnacle of. He just gets up, falls back. I mean, he falls, gets up, falls right back down. Listen. That fight, it's interesting because a lot of people look at it and they think, oh, Judah, at the time especially, people were saying Judah would have, that if the fight wouldn't have been stopped, that Judah probably could have come back and win. But that second round, I'm telling you, there's people.
Stop, he would have killed him.
I know, but people are saying that, oh, if he would have gone on, like if he would have regained his legs. But if you look at that compare the second and first rounds. The first round, he did tag Tszyu with some big shots, but then in the second one he didn't hit him with anything. Tszyu was pushing him back, cutting off the ring. He gauged the distance very well, so where he wasn't getting caught with any more shots. And I think it would have been a matter of time before he caught Judah with another right hand. So I disagree with that whole thing. Back in those days, people were speculating like, oh, if Judah fights him in a rematch, it's a win for him. Like how's he going to avoid a right hand with his hands down? I mean, it's impossible. Well, not impossible.
Yeah, especially from hands of Tszyu. I mean, I rate the guys in terms of punching power, number one guy at super lightweight. Dude was just brutal. I mean, if you listen to the sound of those punches on those old broadcasts, it was like in Pacquiao Ledwaba fight. It was like somebody was getting hit with bricks. and in the post-fight interview after Tszyu, it was that right hand that dropped Zab. It wasn't even like the hardest punch that he threw. It was just super accurate, right on the button.
Mm-hmm.
So we can imagine if Tszyu decided to pummel the guy, especially being a good finisher that he was.
The performers that's first of all, we got Apology Man on the line. Just want to give a shout before we continue. Shout out to Apology. Are you there?
Hello, do you guys miss me?
Did
Not
we
really.
miss you?
Damn.
Cameron, straight to the point there. No, we didn't really miss you, man. We don't miss anybody here. I mean, come on. Miss? Really? Is that what you're going with? Miss?
No, I'm trying to get.
You're a nice
Apologies,
guy.
it's been a while since
You're a nice
man,
guy.
So I do miss you a bit, man.
Yeah,
Listen.
I appreciate that.
Sorry, because I just don't want to. I don't want to
missed
break
you
up
like
the
a rock
conversation.
in the shoe.
I appreciate that as well, man.
There you go.
Nice to be back on.
Yeah, good to have you back on, man, as well. Spreading the love here. Everybody's look at this. Ain't this a friendly place here? The BDA Boxing Podcast.
Can I just confirm, guys, that I actually have a date tomorrow night?
All right, listen. This isn't the what's Cameron doing tomorrow podcast. All right, you're going on a date. First of all, it's not a date if you have to pay for it. That's number one. Second of all, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I miss Apology like Apology misses X.
That's true. Yeah.
I just want to let people know. I just want to let people know that I'm over the former romance. I'm moving on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Well, this new girl better.
Yeah, she is, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
nice one,
do one thing for me. Nail that ass.
Yeah.
Oh, apology. You actually agreed with that. Fucking hell.
Yeah, go ahead. Go wild, Cameron. You deserve it after the breakup.
Yeah, man. See, I like apology.
You enjoy sucking him off?
Yes.
You like his cock?
I love it.
That's the spirit. Thank you.
Fuck is that?
I don't know. I'm just playing whatever I've got here. Listen,
VDA, what do you be watching on your own time?
Like him coming in your face.
Yes.
What does it taste like?
All right, that's enough out of that. It's a family show. It's a family show. Shouldn't be playing that type of. But you know what? Pavel was talking about Kostazu's strength. Listen, I hate talking about Kostazu because it happened. He's been retired for about 13 years now. But the guy I read in a magazine once about his workout routine. He used to bench press, which some people say it's a big no-no when it comes to boxing. But he would bench press, I think, about close to what Shane Mosley used to do, which is 300 pounds, something like that. And he could also do 1,000 push-ups in under an hour. Something like that. Yeah, go ahead, Pavel.
I believe that. I definitely believe that. Yeah. I mean, the kind of strength that he displayed. I mean, I think people look at the size. There's like a few guys that I know that are like 5'6", man, and they're fucking benching like. They're benching like 300 pounds. I mean, it's easily too. Some of them are doing it like fucking easy. I mean, I'm sure they're doing something, right? But or they could be doing something. But Kostazu was a very strong man. Those punches, like Pavel was saying, you can hear them. Like it was just so crisp and loud.
Yeah,
I mean, they just had thunder in them.
Also, you got to take into account that Kostazu had a very strong mind. I might recognise when he confronted Miguel Cotto, but that's for another day.
No,
I knew he was gonna go there. Listen, man, there was one incident. I didn't want to get, I wanted to come back to New York alive.
Never gonna let that one down, man.
He's never gonna.
Okay, so screw you, Cameron.
He's never gonna live it down.
If you wanna see good dismantling, by Kostazu, and you want to hear those punches, watch two fights for me. The first one is, I believe it was against Miguel Angel Gonzalez, and the second one was
man.
What was this dude's name? Yeah, I think it was Diosbeli Hurtado.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Those fights were brutal.
Oh, Hurtado, yeah, that's right, man. Holy
he just
shit.
bludgeoned them.
But especially, like you said, Miguel Angel Gonzalez. People don't realize, I mean, that guy was a really good fighter at 140. He broke, he's the guy that broke De La Hoya's face. He's the one that changed everything, like the way he looks. De La Hoya clearly won that fight. I think it was, it went the distance. It definitely went the distance. It went 12 rounds. De La Hoya won, but he broke his cheekbone. And from there on out, like De La Hoya was like fucking getting surgery, because he was into that pretty boy shit. And you can see like he started changing into like Michael Jackson and shit from that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
he
that.
was definitely no bum.
Yeah, he was no bum, man. And he also
Floyd. How do you think Floyd was against him?
Was that
Floyd against Kostazu?
Yeah.
At 140, I thought he looked really good there. But then it's hard to really get how good Floyd was at 140 because he didn't really stay there long. I don't even think did he have 2 fights there maybe at the most?
I think so.
But
but
I think at that weight class he would have I think it would have been a really good fight. It's hard to say. Because I think that at 140, Kostazu is probably one of the greatest 140-pounders. You can make an argument that he's in the top 3 at least. So it would have been interesting. But De La Hoya, and De La Hoya too. Actually, De La Hoya didn't really want to fight him either.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they were supposed to fight, right?
I think Floyd never took that risk, man. He never took the risk.
But De La Hoya was supposed to fight Kostazu. Then Kostazu ended up running into Vince Phillips. I think that was the timeline. And then by the time Kostazu...
you're right. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Phillips stops him in a true like journeyman, upsets one of the best fighters of his time. Performance, one of those kind of performance, and but after that, man, fucking Kostazu was just a killer. After that, man.
Hey guys, can I just ask a question? Because I didn't watch it because I just have no interest in it whatsoever. But did anyone watch the Clarissa Shields fight last night?
No, nobody watched that. I don't think so.
Oh my god!
I'd rather watch paint dry.
I'm pretty
I was
sure.
waiting for apology to say that. I was waiting for apology to say that.
I'm pretty sure Stu
Listen, I'd
watched
rather
it.
be in the room with X than watch that fight.
Apparently,
Oh my
Shield,
God, what-
apparently Shield's got knocked down as well.
No
That's
kidding.
what I heard.
No kidding.
Oh,
That's
really?
interesting. Huh.
You know
I
what?
have no desire to watching women that that behave like me, men.
You know what?
Exactly.
I've seen
Sexist.
I've seen her walk out only. I didn't see the fight, and she was wearing like Wakanda outfits,
Oh.
same as Danny Jacobs did,
Yeah.
and Baby Miller. I guess those were those Wakanda powers.
Mm.
Can we confirm that it recognises a sexist, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been confirmed a long time ago. Get with the program, man. Get with the program. Didn't she
me,
say?
You know what, man?
I'd rather watch them in the kitchen.
Oh.
Boxing has no hot girls. Man.
Come
Boxing
on.
has no hot girls. Like the only time I enjoy seeing women fight is when Misha Tate was fighting in the UFC. That's the only time I enjoy seeing a women fight.
Yeah,
Gina Carano as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Gina
The only
Carano.
time I
man.
like to watch women fight is when Alexis Texas is
They got big tits. They got big tits.
she's banging some dude.
They got big tits and a big ass. I'm all for it. I don't mind seeing, some real hot girls laying on top of each other, submitting each other and shit. Listen, Misha Tate can choke me out any day. Just call me if you want to do it, Misha.
And by the way, the only time
Is he ass as well?
recognized likes to watch women fighting is when they're trying to fight him off. Scratching and trying to pull his hairs, and they're saying no, and Recognize just goes, no, it just makes me stronger, bitch. Is that how it goes, Recognize?
I'd rather see Cherokee Diaz and Alexis Texas fight. That's
There you go.
Just to confirm, I actually the only person here who actually endorses domestic violence is Stu. Just confirm that.
I'm pretty sure Stu did watch the fight. I'm pretty sure Stu watched the women's fight. He loves women fighting. Just to put that out there, I think he actually said once on the show that he prefers women watching than men. So I think that's what he said.
Actually, someone in the chat, the Shepherd's Sons, my man Shepherd's Sons, right there, good man. He says the Hammer chick is all right. Yeah, she is pretty hot, man. I'll give you that. No, I'd give her a good spanking. I'll tell you that.
Who's the Hammer chick? Yeah, who's the Hammer chick?
Christina Hammer. Google her. She is hot.
Every time I try to Google
Get her on the screen.
I'm gonna try, but this whole connection thing. So
why are they if they're so good looking? Why are they wasting their beautiful talent, man? Like, come on.
They got issues. They got issues.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah. Then again, do you guys respect?
I'm just saying,
I'm sucking dick.
All right, I just heard dick at the end. I don't want to know what he was saying. But do you guys respect that? Do you guys respect? Sorry, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
I missed that. What you said, BDA?
Yeah, you're cutting out for me, man, I think.
I know.
Yeah,
Because I'm trying to pull up this picture of this Christina Hammer. I'm gonna put the picture on the internet there. I mean, on the screen. But I gotta tell you, that's why the connection is starting to. I don't know what's going on with there seems to be some interference today. But hold on a second. I'm trying my best to put it up here. I gotta tell you.
What do you think of Mackenzie Dern?
And her accent does more than proper fake. Nah, for fuck's sake, dropped off.
Who dropped off? Everybody or? Okay. All right. So that's Christina Hammer. I gotta tell you, that picture is doesn't do her a lot of favors. Let's go with this one.
Cameron, just shove her knickers down her throat, and then you won't hear her talk.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, she's hot. Don't get me wrong. I would definitely go there. I'll follow her on Instagram. So yeah.
I mean, she's good looking. I mean, but she's nothing that. I don't know. I guess she's not my style. She's not crying. That's why I'm not turned on.
Is that because she's taller than you, BA?
I don't know. How tall is she? I couldn't tell from the picture.
She's about 5'7", I think. 5'7".
Nah, she's not
5'8".
taller than me. She's not taller than me. I could manhandle her for sure.
Bring it down a notch or two.
Can you outbox her, BDA?
Oh, I've never seen her fight, so I don't, or box rather. Listen, fuck boxing. I'll just take her down.
You know who's a good-looking woman, but she's just too big. She's just like too fucking big. For me, at least. Muhammad Ali's daughter.
You say Dan Raphael then.
Why not? Why not?
She's okay.
Well,
She's okay.
No, I'm saying
I
pretty
wouldn't
face.
say-
Pretty face.
She's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Let's
Layla
not
is
get
pretty.
carried
At least I wouldn't have to reach down to her tits.
The only thing is that I think she's 5'11". Like, look, I'm 6'2".
Oh,
That's
my
not
type.
I'm
But she's-
5'11".
right. But I like girls that when they put heels on, I'm still taller than them.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
Like I'm still taller than she is. But if she wore heels
I'll
and
be
I'm wearing fucking sneakers, she might be my height. Like, nah.
Right.
My ex, when I'm 5'11", my ex was 5'5". When she put heels on, she was literally directly up to my eyes. So I was like, listen, you're pushing it here. Even if a girl's taller than me with heels on, that relationship ain't happening.
Yeah, exactly, man.
By the way, oops, cutting off again there a little bit. Corruption.
I have a BDA. If a woman wears heels, she cannot be small brows.
She
If
cannot be
is,
what?
Then she's too fucking tall.
I
And
see.
I walk down the street sometimes and I see blokes who are shorter than girls and they're holding hands. I'm like, do you realise you look like the bitch in a relationship? You're wearing the panties in a relationship.
You look like the woman.
Cameron, I see these skinny little boys with these fat ugly women as well. That's what I see walking down the street.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Let me tell you something.
see that all the time.
I've seen shorter, like if you're gonna be a shorter guy, you really need to optimize everything you have in your arsenal. So you gotta get into shape, you gotta, work out, you gotta take care of your appearance, your hair, your shoes, your clothing, get some money. And of course, the most important thing is work your attitude, your character. That's what women are attracted the most. I've seen examples of short guys being able to pull off hot girls. It's not impossible. But I do think that in essence, they do have to work at improve certain things that maybe a tall guy doesn't have to. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the way it is. Sorry.
Listen, I've
Character
seen guys 5'7", 5'6", dating girls 5'8", 5'9".
Exactly.
Like it's nothing, man.
Exactly. So
I've
don't
never
let that
dated a
height.
girl shorter. Like the shortest I've dated was 5'1". 5'1". So I mean, the last one. I mean, the one I'm meeting tomorrow night is 5'3". So I'm okay in this one.
She's 18, right?
You see, that's fine.
She's over
No, she's
18.
20. Do you know what? She's actually 2 years older than me. So
Well,
she's 26.
Because you're saying I used to go out with a girl that was
Cameron's
4'8". I mean, what the hell? You're going out with an 8-year-old? What are you doing?
This is the first time I'm actually younger than the girl.
Look at you.
She's 26. Like, I don't go below 21 for girls, but I'm actually over 26. So yeah.
All right. Listen, let's get back to boxing here. What?
BDA character doesn't mean shit. Just a disclaimer. I could be a biggest piece of shit in the house, right? But if I'm the most popular one within my social circle, hey, I'm gonna get that pussy.
But
Yeah, well, Pavel, you're the leader of the mafia, right? I mean, you get all the pussy, so it's
That's
easy for
right.
you to say that.
No, I'm just a small guy. I don't even flaunt my wealth. I just dress down earth tones, Don't show anything.
Listen. If you got a big cock, you're winning. Simple as that.
No,
Pavel-
but you gotta make that first impression. Oh, your cock is like, whatever.
Yeah, unless you're
right.
walking around with your cock out. Just fucking...
Yeah.
I want to say recognize.
Look at my 10-inch cock.
I want to say recognize as a big pair of balls, but Miguel Cotto proved he doesn't.
Listen, man, if you was there, you would have backed off too. Trust me.
Oh man, I'm just messing with you, man.
when it comes to Cameron fighting, he does a good job of destroying furniture and all that. But when it comes to actual fight, have you ever fought anybody, Cameron?
Yeah, I have, believe it or not, quite a lot.
Really? And how did you get out of it? Like on your knees, or did you actually fight back?
I got jumped off. No.
I'm kidding. Jeez. All right, listen.
Nah, man, I've had my fair. Everybody's had their fair scraps.
Oh yeah. You have to, if you're gonna be opinionated as well. By the way, Pavel said that character doesn't mean anything. But can we agree that if you're gonna be the most popular guy in the room, it comes down to your character, or at least your personality, a little bit, which is what I'm trying to get at. Which is you have to work on your inner person. so that it comes out in the exterior, and that's what women are attracted to. By character, I didn't necessarily mean your virtues or being a virtuous person. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. The thing is, women have hive mind. They follow, and if they see that you are perceived well in your social circle, then hey, they're gonna be attracted to you.
That's
And you
right.
can have an ugly fucking face, but if you're, you don't have an egg beard, you don't have a bad acne, or you're relatively in shape. Hey, I don't care if you look like a Quasimodo. I'm a living proof of that.
Are you saying you're a Quasimodo-looking person?
I'm not Brad Pitt for sure.
Well, wait, first of all, I've seen you on your
Nah, I've
webcam.
seen uglier people.
Yeah, you're not ugly. I mean, ugly would be. Listen, I hate to use the word ugly, but there are people out there that are bizarre looking, and those are the ones that really have to work extra
Oh
hard.
yeah,
But you don't seem to have that. Who can we throw under the bus? A boxer that's really ugly. Oh, Mouse Carl.
Lebedev.
Who?
Poorly.
Paulie Malina. Nah, Paulie's not
Fuck's sake.
ugly. I'm talking a guy that immediately when you look at him, you go, oof, what's going on here? Oh yeah, okay. Mustache
Jerry
Castache.
McDonald.
Mustache Castache says Jamie Munguia, aka Goro. He says that's an ugly looking fella.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Jaime Munguia. Look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I didn't know that what Recognize said, getting back to boxing a little bit, I didn't know that about De La Hoya. I didn't know that Gonzalez had broken his face and he had to get some surgery or something repaired there. I didn't. That's interesting thing. It's interesting also that De La Hoya also got his forehead cracked by Stevie Forbes before the actual what's it called, the Pacquiao fight. He got that skull cracked. He had like a hairline fracture. So I don't know what it is about De La Hoya and facial fractures, but apparently he wasn't exactly the most lucky person when it came to that. Jazza Dickens. Who was Jazza? Jazza Dickens? I don't know. You know a guy that was
The
supposed
one
to...
that Vigo broke his face. That's the
Right,
one
right,
that broke his
yeah,
face.
right. Oh yeah, Boxing Fairy Tale brings up a good point. Nikolai Valuev. He was a weird looking guy. Because he had that disease, well, not disease, but that, pineal gland malfunction or whatever, which is he just kept growing and growing. So he did have that Neanderthal face. I think the best way somebody described him was that he was as hairy as Robin Williams and that physically he looked a lot like Lurch from the Addams Family. That's true. I mean, the guy was pretty bizarre looking, but apparently I saw some of his interviews and he was a pretty down-to-earth type of guy and actually quite bright when it came down to it, but just genetically he was a giant.
I've seen his Russian interviews, and he's actually well spoken and really down to earth guy. He's like a gentle giant. He's just, he looks how he looks.
Exactly. That's
and
it.
People are gonna perceive a worse looking person as somebody who's, an actual worse person, which is called the halo effect.
Oh yeah, that's real, right? That's a real proven psychological effect there.
Absolutely, yeah. There were done many research on that matter.
So do you think that must apply to marketing, right? Like if you have a guy like Canelo De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia, I'm not saying that I'm attracted to them, obviously, but they are pretty boy face. And Cameron made a good point about that Mexican women, for some reason, they do seem to be attracted to that baby face type guy. So when it comes to marketing a fighter, is it the same thing as an actor? Like that if they do have an attractive face, they're easier to market. Does that play a factor in boxing as well? When you have a good looking guy who can actually fight, did you just hit the jackpot with that one if you're a promoter?
I mean, isn't it for every sport?
I don't know.
Isn't it for every sport?
I don't know about every sport, man. Because first of all, I don't follow other sports, so I'm not sure if that's the way it works.
I'm not sure about boxing because boxing doesn't really have a big female audience like other sports.
That's true. That's true.
Like it might be the case to a lesser degree, but you're not gonna have lots of female boxing fans.
It does. I guess it gets you extra like promotion and pay, and like maybe pay-per-view numbers and stuff like that.
I agree.
Oh yeah, corruption in boxing says the Russian that was charged under the RICO Act is damn ugly. I don't know if he's Russian. Was he Russian? The guy that beat Antoine Douglas. What's his name? I can't look the name up right now. But yeah, it's again, he's got like that Valuev effect type going. And by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Yeah, they are. As a man, I do recognize when a man is good looking. I'm not saying like, oh, look at that, like.
She got a great ass.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, you can. If I'm a promoter and I see a guy that can fight and that's good looking, it doesn't hurt to try to market him to the widest possible audience. I mean, just look at De La Hoya. I remember when he fought. What was it? Some French guy that wasn't even all that great. And he attracted. You looked at the crowd. There were more women there than the average boxing fight.
Texas.
So in Texas, yeah.
BJ, if you want to,
something like that.
Yeah, Carpentier. Exactly. Yeah, go ahead. Apology. What would you want to say?
if you want a car in example, you can look at Anthony Joshua. I think I told the story before. Like at a bar I used to work in, they were playing Joshua Klitschko live, and there was a lot of girls in there. A lot of girls basically getting their panties wet over Anthony Joshua. So it can really help in certain situations.
Yeah, like I think Canelo gets a lot of that too. Like
Canelo,
yeah,
he does.
Guys like Canelo, De La Hoya, Anthony Joshua. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of girls that are like that are gonna be fans because they just find them to be attractive.
Your
yeah, the fan size being absolutely destroyed by them.
Suck your cock.
Whoops, sorry about that.
Yeah, the fan size being, destroyed.
Well, that's what I wanted to get at. Is there, because Pavel was talking about the halo effect, psychology and all that. I think we can all agree that if a woman looks like a good-looking guy and he's a professional prize fighter and who's one of the best at what he does, I think that's definitely attractive to most women. They want a guy that's able to knock somebody out with one punch. You know what I mean? That they want that protective factor.
When I used to want to get a girl, I'd just go up to a guy randomly and just knock him out and be like, what do you thought about that, sweetie? Oh my God, I like you. No.
Yeah, you knocked them out and then you heard something.
Shit, I would have been dead by now.
Yeah, especially in New York, man. Yeah, so recognize he would hit. Recognize would hit a woman, and then you would just hear somebody like throwing a bucket of water onto the floor. Like, whoa, what was that? Those women, man, panties wet after that.
I don't advocate for hitting women, except slapping them in the ass. That's it. Yeah.
No, I didn't say hitting women. I say, man, whatever. I'm not gonna go back to that. But look, listen, this whole Josh Taylor thing. People are saying, man, they don't like what happened, and I agree. But at the end of the day, we're all seasoned boxing fans here. I think we can all like. I'm bothered by it, but it's almost like it's like when they say when you go to prison, the first time you see somebody getting shanked or something, the first reaction is concern. By the 5th, 4th, 6th time, you start to lose, sleep over it. And by that 15th time, you just see somebody get stabbed and you go like, that's the world we live in. And I think that's a little bit what's happened here with boxing. Like, I look at a bad decision. Well, it wasn't a bad decision, but I look at scorecards like that and I go, listen, they were fighting in his hometown. What did you want? What did you expect? You know what I mean? I know it ain't right. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it because it's the nature of the... You know what it is with us boxing fans? It's a lot like the parable of the scorpion and the frog. You all know that parable, right? That story? That fable? Right, guys? You were aware of that?
Yes, I am.
There you go. Well, in case anybody isn't. It's about the scorpion tells the frog, listen, take me over the fucking river, will ya? And the frog knows, fuck, now you motherfucker, you're going to, stab me in the back with your sting me. Yeah.
My brother, right? Like, my brother's so tired of boxing.
He better be a good one, man, because you interrupted my scorpion story. Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No, but he better make it good, man. Go ahead, make it good.
Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, so when I tell him, like, when I try to tell him about a boxing fight, I try to tell him about something that's, some upcoming fight. And this was like a boxing fan. He grew up a boxing fan. He's like, dude, why do you watch that fake shit? Like, it's fake. Like, it's rigged. You know the A side's gonna win.
You know what? I'll do you one better. A guy I knew, boxing fan, he told me that he showed, or he was watching Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti, the first fight, with his family, who didn't know jack squat about boxing, and they weren't impressed by the fight. And when he asked them why, they said, because look at it, it's fixed. Like, it's not possible that one guy gets hurt and then he comes back and hurts the other guy. Like, nah, it's rigged. It's like wrestling. It's all predetermined. They're putting on the show. And I went, wait a minute. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but that just goes. That was a little too hard to believe for me. That those guys were.
That fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight looked. Look, it was an awesome fight, but it looked like a fucking movie. Like,
Yeah.
Arturo Gatti was getting punched in the face where it looked like, like a fucking movie. Like, you remember those Batman punches that you could fucking see the bam, wow, this, that. That's what it looked like to me. It just didn't look real. And I always love casual boxing fans when they look at a fight. I love their reaction. Like, they'll be like, why are you guys cheering for the guy who's running from the fight? Like, they always have they always have this, like I said, they always have this view of the number one and the number two main ways to score a fight, the fighting criteria, which is clean and effective punching and who's controlling the action in the ring. Like, they tend to look at it from that standpoint. They don't get, like, they're not impressed by the third or the fourth, which is, on the back foot, who looks prettier doing it, that kind of stuff. I'm making him miss, and that's how I'm winning the fight. Like, they're not really interested in that. They're interested in number one and number two. That is it. Like, that's the way they see boxing. And then when you look at the MMA, you understand why. Because a lot of these casual boxing fans are MMA fans as well, or casual MMA fans.
Well, you bring up a good point, which is why, by the way, there's some clipping going on from your end, they recognize. But to your point, it's true. With boxing, since it's just punching, the best boxers are able to neutralize each other's styles, and that can make for a boring fight. And in MMA, however, if you look at the fights that people enjoy the most, is when it's stand-up and when somebody knocks the other one out. When it goes to the ground immediately, even in some places, you hear the crowd booing. So boxing has more chances of being exciting because they are just punching. But at the same time, if it's, for example, the Terence Crawford versus Keith Thurman, for example, it would be exciting for us because Keith Thurman is the type of guy that fights off the back foot, but he does try to counter with power and with hooks. So there's a lot of woo moments and a lot of tension. You don't know what's going to happen. But for the most part, I don't think it'd be the type of fight that most boxing fans would enjoy. I mean, most casual fans would enjoy. But if you put Crawford against Errol Spence, one guy coming forward, the other guy trying to counter, that's what makes for a more exciting fight. But so recognize is right. I mean, it's casual boxing fans. You need to understand boxing in order to appreciate it and to understand what's going on. Because sometimes if a fight's too technical and you don't know shit about technique, then what is there to enjoy?
Right. And here's another thing too. What I hate was when there's a lot of technique being used, and a boxing fan over exaggerates and he got his ass whipped. Like, no, ass whipping is clear as day. Everybody can see that. There's no like, oh, if you got to be a real boxing fan to notice an ass whipping. That is not true. An ass whipping is a universal language. You know it when you see it. That's it.
Exactly.
There's no explaining that. So that's one of the things that pisses me off about hardcore boxing fans is when they use this term, he whipped his ass.
Yeah.
An ass whipping, everybody and their mother could see an ass whipping.
Absolutely. And sometimes even fighters know it. Like if somebody catches a beating but it goes to the decision and they're waiting for the decision, you can tell body language who lost and who won. You know what I mean? So that's why when some fighters go, no, I won the fight. Absolutely. That's because if they got the decision, they changed their tune from going from looking deflated to all of a sudden going, hey, I got the decision. I'm gonna milk this for everything it's worth. But yeah, an ass whooping. Like, what's a good definition of one of the worst beatings in boxing? Could be recent, could be of all time. I'm thinking of
Manny Pacquiao versus Margarito.
Oh,
yeah.
That was a
Margarito Cotto.
Margarito
That's
Margarito Cotto, yeah, that's another one. I'm talking one-sided.
I think,
Yeah.
I think, sorry, BD, a recent fight that should have been stopped earlier on would be Koto Kamegai.
You think that fight should have been
I
stopped?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but like way earlier, it should have been stopped. I mean, Kamegai was eating combinations left and right. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Mayweather Gotti.
Oh yeah, that's an ass whooping right there. That is an ass.
Yeah,
whooping.
that is an ass whipping.
Yeah, poor Arturo Gatti couldn't stand. Couldn't
That
do
was a
anything.
club. That was a club boxer versus a professional boxer.
Yeah, it was.
You know what? Going back to Mayweather, one of the fights that I find also underrated from him is, well, actually, it is one of his biggest wins because he was able to finish it with a knockout. But the Hatton fight, Ricky Hatton really made a big mistake going into that fight. He thought Floyd Mayweather was Corey Spinks. He thought he wasn't going to be able to hurt him. It's like he used to say before the fight, oh, I'm going to walk through him. I'm going to walk through his shots and stay close to him and work him over. Like, Mayweather was stinging him with those big right hands, and he was able to outfight Hatton on the inside. That's where the fight where that really made me say, whoa, not only can Mayweather fight on the inside like he did against Jude and all that, but he can actually fight real close. Like, I'm talking chest to chest. Because that to me is difficult to do, man. Chest to chest, you don't have the space to see exactly what's going on. You really have to practice that. So that was a fight that impressed me from Mayweather, that inside chest to chest type of attack. Oh yeah, De La Hoya.
That's true.
Good to get help from the ref though. I didn't like that.
That's true, yeah. Joe Cortez was a little bit too over-eager in that one. The Shepherd of Sun says De La Hoya whooped his ass too. Speaking of Gatti. Yeah, that was another one. That's when Gatti fought 8-level fighters. That's the thing. Precise Puncher says Kovalev Pascal. That's another. The second one especially, that was a long, drawn-out beating. Torture.
Yeah, he literally wanted to kill him. Like, he literally wanted to kill him.
I think he did, man. I think he did. Kovalev
didn't Kovalev say, didn't Kovalev said in the post-fight interview that he dragged the fight on purpose, like to hurt him?
It wouldn't surprise me,
kill
man.
him. He said,
I'm telling you, Kovalev has a mean streak. Like, he killed a guy once, and he was about to do it again with. He wanted to do it again with Pascal. This guy's insane. But I'm trying to think. You know, there's some old school beatings. Ruben Olivares, back in the 60s, I believe, he was he used to put on beatings on people as well. Boxing Style, shout out to Boxing Style, says, me and Pavel's mom, that was an ass whooping. Pavel, are you gonna take that? Pavel, are you gonna take that or?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Look,
all right.
Boxing Style, what's your problem?
You know what his problem is? He picked Marty Rosen a couple of weeks ago, and since then that pan out. Now he's still pissed off about it.
Yeah. Salty.
He's just messing around. Yeah, my mom would dominate him.
Are you saying that she would be the one wearing the strap on and he would be the one with his legs up in the air? Is that what you're trying to get at here? Because that's what I think I heard you say.
He'll be at the bottom.
Chris Gonzalez, shout out to Chris, says Boxing Styles is going to be centipeded. He's talking about the human centipede, which I don't know why it's become the unofficial BDA movie, even though I've never seen it. All I know is I've heard about it. I've read about it, but I've never seen the motherfucking film, and I'm not about to.
Yeah, Boxing Styles will be at the bottom.
Hey, by the way,
that, you know,
I don't know about
demeanor by him.
Boxing Styles says, I like it at the bottom. Ooh, listen. Anyway, another movie that we haven't really talked about that could be BDA's unofficial film that we haven't seen is a Serbian film I've never seen it, but I've read about it.
One.
What's that?
That's a good one. You should watch it.
Don't tell me you saw it.
Oh, I absolutely seen it.
You're kidding me, right? Why would you watch that film? Like, what's the point?
Because it's controversial and it just drawn me.
You shut up! You shut your fucking hole!
It's controversial. So wait a minute. Please don't,
Yeah,
Pavel.
but it's
Please
not
don't
like
tell.
super gore. It's not super gory, but the topic of this movie, it's really disturbing shit. And I'm not surprised it's banned in many countries. So yeah, you should watch it.
When you say surprised, are you saying did you actually mean to say disappointed that it's banned in many countries, or?
Oh no. Like, could you repeat your question, please? Could
You said
cut off?
I'm not surprised that it's banned. I think you meant to say I'm disappointed that it's banned.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it should. I think it's banned in Serbia just because it was named Serbian film and it was such a disturbing shit.
Yeah, that's
So whenever people search for Serbian cinematography, cinematography, they kind of come up with in Google search with Serbian film, which is like the gore.
So that's not gonna be Serbia's official film, right? Like the one that they're gonna archive in their put in the national archives. Like, oh yeah, this is the movie that best represents Serbia.
I don't think so.
You know, I think you also mentioned Cannibal. Was it you that mentioned Cannibal Holocaust in one of the podcasts?
I did.
You motherfucker! All right, what's the most let's go with this. What's the most disturbing one you've seen? The one that you watch and you said, "Whoa, okay, this one's gonna stick with me for a while."
Actually, it was a Serbian film. Not because of the graphic scenes, although yeah, they played a part a little bit, but it was just the creativity of the screenwriters,
Mm-hmm.
screenplay writers, and it was. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it was super disturbing. Yeah, so you should definitely watch it. Even for me, it was disturbing, which should say something.
All right, let me just read a couple of the comments here. Original Bruno says, "Oh hell no, that movie is disturbing as fuck." He's talking about Serbian film. Who else? Virgil Ortiz is gonna be fighting soon. He's a good prospect. Chris Gonzalez says, "Don't ever go to a party at Pavel's house." I'm just saying, yeah. If we go to a party to Pavel's house, I don't think we're coming out alive. I think we're gonna be spending a bit of time
Come on,
there.
guys. I'm gonna keep it PG-13.
Now, yeah. You know what movie was disturbing in the sense that that falls right into that category of useless cinematography is Passion of the Christ. Like, what was the point of watching that movie? You know what I mean? It's like you're cataloging the last hours of a guy getting having the shit beat out of him. Like, what's the point of that? Why not make why didn't Mel Gibson? Because let me tell you something. The movie looks good. Good cinematography, good acting, soundtrack, everything. But then it's just a torture flick. I don't understand what he was going with it.
Could you repeat the name of the movie? Because you cut off pretty badly right now.
Now you listen to me, Pavel. I am not going to repeat myself. I said what I had to say, and you're going to have to... You didn't hear it?
Just the title of the movie.
The Passion of the Christ.
You cut off again. No, I'm serious, man. Something Christ.
The Passion of the Christ. The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, the Passion of the... Oh, okay, now I hear you. Yeah.
Shut the
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, because I don't know. Listen, the fucking... there's some clipping going on from my end here as well. Yeah, The Passion of the Christ. Listen, what do you want from that? The Punisher says Mel Gibson loves torture. He married a girl that was weird looking. The last one, I think, the one that recorded him while he was on the phone with her. That it does seem like he likes torture. Because why do you want to go with a woman like that? She had those big fish lips, artificial ones. Anyway, I'm not here to denigrate anybody.
You're cutting off, man, pretty badly. Seriously,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm just only one.
No,
All right,
it's
let me
me as well. I can't hear him at all.
You tell me if this is all cutting off, okay? Hold on, let me play some intros here.
depending upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in
Did that cut off?
No.
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 She got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it.
All right, did that cut off?
Talking about Cameron.
Yeah, it's like Cameron's new intro.
Shut your fucking mouth!
All right, listen. All right, so maybe it's the hangouts. Maybe that's what's breaking up. I hear you guys fine though. So, all right, people are still talking about this.
Right now.
All right, perfect. People are still talking about this Josh Taylor. I think I cut off there. People are still talking about this Josh Taylor fight, guys. What's left to talk about with that fight? I mean, Taylor won. Yeah, the scorecards were bad, too wide, but he you know, I think he did a little bit more than Postol did.
I mean,
Right,
as
guys?
long as the right man gets the decision, it doesn't really matter that much to me. So I know what we're gonna get with boxing. I've accepted that now.
Yeah.
Was it sort of like Cotto and Alvarez? Was it sort of like that?
Yeah.
I guess where they had it really wide. I thought Canelo won the fight, but the scorecards was just too wide.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you have to accept that now. That's just the way it is, as Tupac will say.
As Tupac would say. All right. So people in the chat room.
It will never be the same.
Oh, the greatest.
You got some balls, kid. I'll give you that much.
People in the chat room are still talking about the Taylor fight because some people just came in. So shout out to anybody that just came in. Pavel in the chat room saying the Serbian film is a very well-made film in terms of the actual cinematographic experience, good camera and all. I thoroughly recommend it. Nobody, please don't watch a Serbian film. There's no point in watching it. It's one of those classic films where like, oh, they're trying to slip in a metaphor under all that gore and everything, but the gore is actually just there to attract an audience thanks to the controversy. Or am I wrong here, Pavel? Set me straight if I'm wrong.
Look, the thing with Serbian film is that it's not just a cheaply made shocker movie, just to shock people with all the gore and stuff. It's a very well made movie in terms of screenplay. The camera work is brilliant. The overall quality is like an AIA big budget movie. It's just the topic is not really popular, but it looks like a big budget movie.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All right, I'll take your word for it. I did see clips of it. I did see, and it does look like, yeah, you're right. Like there's some budget involved. It wasn't filmed with a mini DV digital camera from the mid 2000s. That being said, you know what? Somebody mentioned in the chat room. I forget who it was. I can't go back now, but somebody mentioned Bone Tomahawk. It's a Western film. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but if you liked From Dusk Till Dawn, which throws you a curveball in the middle of the movie, this one does a similar thing near the end. It's a Western, but then it takes a complete turn of affairs near the end. It's a more serious film than from Dusk Till Dawn, but I would highly recommend it. If you're the type of people that just wants a fast movie that's snappy and there's a lot of action, this one, it actually takes a bit of time to build up to the great climax. But if you have some patience, check that one out.
Dusk Till Dawn is that with Selma Hayek?
That's right, Selma Hayek, one of the best scenes ever in cinematic history, man.
She was super hot back then, man.
Everybody says it, man. There's nobody, I've never met anybody that says, yeah, I didn't get at least half a hard on watching that one. I mean, that's Selma Hayek, mid-90s, scorching hot.
She
scorching.
Was bad, man. She was that's exactly how I like them. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. When she was younger, I used to get a hard on as well, but now I just get a chubby.
Is that because you're getting old, or what's going on there? Or is it the steroid?
Oh, she's an old bag.
she's an old bag. But you know what? She scored. She did, and I know Apology is gonna agree with this. She did what she had to. She had her looks, and before her looks started fading, she nabbed herself a billionaire, not just a millionaire, a billionaire, and she had kids with him. She hooked him up, and look at her now. She's got it
If
going
I
on.
was a woman, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, same here.
Why not? I mean, I don't.
I'll probably go for 2 billionaires and then keep them guessing on whose child it is.
Oh, Apology going next level with his scheming. Look at you.
If I was a woman, I'd be the ultimate lesbian.
The ultimate.
No,
the ultimate
girls don't
lesbian.
have girls don't have that much money. You have to go for the men recognize.
Yeah, exactly. That's we're talking financial here. Money, money, money. Big bucks, cash. You can't make cash if you're a lesbian. Good luck. You can get some money doing.
That's the thing about women, right? Like when they're younger, like we're chasing them, right? We're constantly chasing them. But once we get older, we have exactly what they want. What is that? Money.
That's right. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Original Bruno asks, have you ever seen Hostel? No, I haven't seen it. And again, that's another classic movie that relies, from what I've heard, I don't know, but I heard it just relies too much on gore. I'll tell you which movie I found good. It didn't really disturb me, but there were certain parts where I said, whoa, this is really well made. Fuck, what was it? It's so good, I already forgot the name. It's a British movie called Kill List. Kill List, as in a list of people you want to kill. That's a good movie. I don't know, Pavel, have you seen that one?
No.
It's a good one. It's a very good one. There's not that much visual gore. Some of it's off screen. It's implied and all that. Except at the end, it does really pack a punch at the end. It's mostly an atmospheric film, so I would suggest that one. Kill List. There's some pagan.
Oh, Kill is you just described the Serbian film.
Well, the ending, right? The ending.
Everything, the build-up and the major ending.
Yeah, I agree with the endings that they're similar, but since I didn't see a Serbian film, I only know about the ending of a Serbian film, so I don't know if I'll take your word for it. But so, okay, so you did see the Kill List then?
Sounds like Apology's like beating up the microphone or something.
Yeah, is that you, Apology? What's going on?
He's like punching it like a.
I think he's taking care of his needs, and that's why we hear a lot of bouncing there. Apology, are you taking care of your needs, or what's going on?
He's waxing his carrot.
Come on. I don't want your money. I just want your mouth on my big dick.
That's right. That's what he's.
Cock whores.
What cock horse? I didn't even know I had that one. Listen, as long as we're here and it's a bit of a slow day, because we only had one fight and I don't know what else to say about it. I'm just gonna play you some of the best sound bites we have here. All right, that was one.
Let's cast you 3 questions to get this thing going.
All right, so that's
I guess not.
That's the best.
That's the best.
BDA?
Yes.
Do you think these like tournaments will help boxing, like get people back into it, or not?
Absolutely, man. I do think so because it offers the chance of finality. In other words, it establishes the top guy, and that's why a lot of boxing new arrivals to boxing. Some of them are very confused. Like, okay, who's really that? There's 3 champions? No, actually, there's 4 champions. They don't know who's who, and that tends to take away a little bit of the fun of boxing. But with a tournament, fuck the titles for that. If you get the best fighting the best, and somebody comes out on top, there's no doubt about who the best one is.
But the problem, there's kind of like still promotional problems. So like, look at the super middleweight tournament. Like, not all the best are in it.
Sorry, what?
The super middleweight tournament, not all the best are in it.
But that's what I said. I said if the best fight. But that's what I said. That's why I said if the best are in the tournament, then it definitely attracts the boxing fans.
Of course, but the reality is that's not going to happen there.
Well, look, the 140.
Well, it might happen.
Exactly, because look at the 140-pound tournament. Josh Taylor says he wants in. Prograis is already in. The only guy that wouldn't be in there would be Lipinets or maybe Jose Ramirez or that other Hispanic dude. But those guys aren't considered like in other words, you have Baranchik, you have Prograis, you have Josh Taylor, Ryan Martin, who's a good prospect. Like that, to me, if anybody wins that tournament, they are the #1 guy, no doubt about it. Especially since Prograis is considered the number one.
It depends on what weight, because our welterweight will never see a tournament like that. But at light welterweight, we probably will.
Yeah, I think Apology is right. I mean, with all the main guys at welterweight, you'll never see. Most of them are Al Heyman fighters, so you won't see a tournament. That won't happen. They're not interested in tournaments.
Two divisions.
Not saying that they wouldn't do good, just they're not interested. That's not the PBCMO.
Two divisions that really need a tournament, but I don't think they're gonna get it because again, promotional issues. Is junior middleweight could really use one, and super middleweight. Forget that cheap tournament with Chris Eubank. I'm talking a real when you have Uzcategui, at least Anthony Durrell, who's still pretty good. Jose Ramirez, Zurdo Ramirez, if you can get him in there, George Grove, like that would be a fantastic tournament. That's a more of a possibility. Junior middleweight, forget about it. The PBC, Golden Boy, like I don't think that would happen. But man, if they could get their act together and actually work together, all these tournaments would actually be good. But then
That's
again,
why I don't understand. Like when I watch videos, like these certain uploaders who stick up for, and look, I don't care about either one of these promoters. I could care less. How they could stick up for like one promoter over the other and why fights don't get made. It's like, who gives a fuck, man? Get them in the ring. Like that should be the focus. It's like, I want to see these guys get up in the ring and fight each other. That's it. If they had a tournament, that would be great, man. I mean, just get them all in the ring and see who's like. That should be all the fighters that are on the the elite level fighters, whoever their promoter is, whatever weight class. Their #1 goal should be, I'm the best. So if there's a tournament, sign me up for it. I'll get my promoter to get on board and let's make it happen. But a lot of uploaders, all they care about is like the outside shit. This is why the promoter that I like doesn't want his fighters in the ring with the promoter's fighters that I don't like. It's like, shit is nonsense, man.
You know what else is the problem? The other problem is losses. Promoters and some boxing fans as well, they tend to put too much emphasis on a loss. Like, oh, this guy lost, oh, it's over his career. Like, even look at Postol, man. He lost against Crawford, didn't look all that hot against that Nurmagomedov guy, whatever his name was. And everybody was like, oh, he's going to lose to Taylor in 3 rounds. He's going to get stopped. He sucks now. And look at him. He came back against a younger foe and actually did pretty good, enough that some people might have, given him a draw to the farthest extent. So one loss does not signify the end of a fighter's career, but that's how promoters look at it. I mean, look at Canelo. He lost against Mayweather. Did his career end up going down the toilet? No. Became one of the biggest, if not the biggest name in boxing. So that's the problem with that, recognizes these promoters. They're afraid of inter-promotional fights because if the other guy wins, the boxer walks away with the win and the other one stays with the loss, and now you got to remarket him. But it's not that hard to remarket a fighter that took a loss. It's part of boxing.
That's why I credit,
especially when go on.
Apology. I was going to say that's why I give Canelo some credit. I still give Canelo credit. Like, he's got a loss. He had a fight with Golovkin, a fight that he could have lost on the scorecards, and he's willing to do it again, even though he's sort of exposed. Not sort of. He is exposed as somebody that's like cheating and shit. But he's still willing to go in there, and I'm sure that a lot of boxing fans, a lot of us feel that this is a fixed fight. We don't know how it's going to play out exactly, but it's still a risk that Canelo has to do, because I don't think GGG is involved in the fight, because he knows that if he wins, there's a lot at stake for him. So I give Canelo credit for, like, look, This is a dangerous fight. Even though the fight might be stacked in my favor, I still got to pull it off. And that's a guy that's willing to go in there and say, 2 losses. I mean, if he loses, let's say he loses and he gets stopped, but it's a competitive fight. We know that's not going to really drop his stock that much. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to really drop his stock that much because we know that all he has to do is get in there in the ring with another good name, beat that person by knockout. He's back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these fighters are too focused on the zero because they have nothing else to offer. That's the reason why. They don't have any. Look, Floyd Mayweather really didn't have anything to offer besides the zero. He wasn't a great puncher. He's not a guy that could knock you out or anything like that. So he had to protect that zero. And I think a lot of these fighters are doing the same thing. They're like, look, I got to protect that zero because when it comes to personality, I don't have one. When it comes to, outside shit, I really don't have any outside stuff. So I got to protect that zero.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Mayweather had that he needed that aura of invincibility in order to continue selling fights. But it's
imagine him talking shit and he had a loss.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you imagine? It would have never worked. It would have never worked.
And it wasn't a situation like Roy Jones where he lost by disqualification and then came back and scored a first-round knockout over Montel Griffin. Mayweather couldn't have done... let's say they would have given Maidana the decision in the first fight. Let's say. And then Mayweather comes back and fights the way he fought in the second fight. I still think he would have been one of the biggest names in boxing, but his stock definitely would have gone down because I do think that once that went, he would have lost a lot of... prestige.
Unless Mayweather was a knockout artist, he could bounce back from a loss.
Exactly.
He would have retired if he lost. In my opinion,
I think
if he lost any point in his career after Gotti fight, he would have retired.
I agree, man. I think he would have retired for sure. But
remember when Mike Tyson was the number 1 box draw? When it came to pay-per-view and just boxing. The reason why after losses people still wanted to see him fight, and a lot of the fighters that he would fight were bums, it's because he could knock you out. You don't know what you're gonna get from Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a drama. He was like the original drama show. You didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen in that ring. So certain guys, if I'm let's say Jamal Charlo, the bigger one. I'm not worried about a loss because I could knock dudes out. You know what I'm saying? He could knock guys out. But it seems like those guys, even the ones that have knockout power today, are afraid of a loss. They're afraid of that. Earl Spence should not be afraid of a loss because he can knock a bum out. You know what I'm saying? We know that. He can go back in the ring and everybody will love him again by knocking out a bum.
Mm-hmm. And let's not forget, knockouts are also pretty impressive. So if you're a knockout puncher, you already got a bit of a leg up in the boxing business because that's what people love to watch the most. If you're, that's why when people like Rigondeaux, he thinks he should be, he thought he should have been a bigger star, but because Mayweather was a boxer and so was he. But it's not the same thing. Mayweather, it took him a good 11 years, I want to say, before he actually became mainstream, and that was after the De La Hoya fight. But it took him a long time.
The De La Hoya fight that made him a big. I mean, he looked like he was on his way to doing so. With wins like over Toro Gatti, who was at the time was a big box draw. And why was he one of the biggest stars in boxing? Because he was a drama show, right? He's either going to get knocked out, or he's going to knock you out, one of the two. And
exactly.
So Floyd really became that huge star after the De La Hoya win, and basically he was just selling that aura of being undefeated. That's what he was selling.
Oh yeah, and to add on that, I don't think forget about actual Rigondeaux's fights. How did they play? I mean, outside of the ring, he couldn't even play a heel. All this Twitter stuff, it was just such cringeworthy that I didn't really even follow him that much. He just couldn't sell it, whether it's his fights or his outside personality. Only those boxing fans who praise him just because he's two-time gold medalist and he's Cubanese and he has an awkward style, and watch his highlights, praise him for that. But I don't know. I still have that casual boxing fan inside of me that wants to see an exciting fight. But it's just I'm not sold on Riga now. I never was.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The worst is when you try to be a talker, a bad guy, whatever, and still nobody cares about you. That's when you know it's because of your boxing style, or also because what you're saying outside of the ring just sounds too fake. Like people can sense you're like, there's that guy in the UFC right now, Kobe Colvington, I think that's his name.
Oh God,
Yeah, that guy,
he's 100% fake.
You can tell it's
just
fake.
look at his interviews, like 2 or 3 years earlier. He was humble, normal. He wasn't speaking like Conor McGregor, but now he's trying to be the next Conor McGregor, which is really bad.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you
try be yourself, man.
Exactly. It's like when you go up to a girl, and some people try too hard, and they go, "Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be direct, and I'm gonna ask her if she wants to fuck." And then they go, "Hey, baby, you wanna fuck?" And the girl, she can smell it. You're not being genuine. But if you go up to her and you whip your cock out, chances are it's gonna work better because now you're showing her. Now you're showing her that you're. What's that?
Now you're genuine.
Exactly. Now you're genuine. You ain't faking. But seriously, McGregor, you can tell. Sometimes even McGregor, I think he overdoes it. Like when he was fighting Aldo and he said, "Oh, I could smell his pussy." Like in when they were doing the face-off. I thought, come on, you're trying too hard. But every once in a while he does. Most of the time he does sound genuine.
See, the thing about McGregor is he's fake as well, but A, it's entertaining, and B, he backs it up. Because if you talk to him in real life, normally he's calm, collective, and he's just like a nice guy, outgoing guy. But he sells it because he backs it up, and it's entertaining. He gets the knockouts, he wins titles, he gets paid.
Mm-hmm. It's like you guys were saying before. It's a knockout. McGregor, say what you want about the guy, but he does get stoppages, and that's what people want to see. The casuals, they want to see a guy who talks and who knows how to back it up. So, in that sense, apology, you're absolutely right, man. He delivers the goods. But if it's a guy like, for example, again, sorry, going back to Mayweather, near the end of his career when he was a mainstream star, he would do that. He would go like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat this guy up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that," and then what did he do? Complete opposite. So, there's only so much of that you can do before fans start losing faith in you. And you saw it with both Pacquiao and Mayweather. When they weren't fighting each other, their numbers started to go down. Like the Viktor Ortiz fight, some people say Mayweather Ortiz did 1 million, but there's a theory out there that they never released the data, I think. So the estimates are actually that they made more like around 800,000 pay-per-view buys, which is good, but it's not, that myth that Mayweather was making 1 million pay-per-view buys every time he fought, that wasn't true. I mean, it was when he fought Canelo, when he fought Hatton. No, even when he fought Hatton in the US, it didn't break 1 million, which is weird because I would have expected that one to break 1 million. Anyway, listen, speaking of Mayweather, bringing it to something a lot more current, Mickey Bay, former lightweight title holder and now a contender, he's complaining that Mayweather hasn't given him any fights. And I'm paraphrasing here from the article that I read. I don't have it in front of me. But Mickey Bay said something along the lines of, this guy has been inactive for about 2 years now, and he's not doing anything for me. He says, I need some fights. In other words, that's the biggest complaint. So Mayweather is a bit of an extension of the PBC. He does have a promoter's license, but I do think that he's getting a bit of help from Al Heyman. But now you see guys like Mickey Bay, Luis Arias, who ended up leaving the money team, and now you also have Gervonta Davis complaining about the business practices that are going on. I think Jimmy had a good point when he was here a couple of episodes ago, and he said that if he was a fighter or if he was handling a fight or managing a fighter, he would not let him near Mayweather because at the end of the day, he said Mayweather is a bit more of an egocentric personality that he's not going to devote the proper time for his fighters. And I said, I don't know about that. And from what I'm reading here, it appears to be true. I don't think.
Yeah, Mayweather's more into himself. He's like, he's gonna sell you on who he is, and if you're a fighter, coming up, you don't want that. You want
Mm-hmm.
a promoter that's going to sell you and make a name off of you, not the other way around.
Exactly. And you know what? It could actually work for Mayweather if he did show up. Like, let's say he's got Gervonta Davis, and he keeps showing up at the press conferences and giving interviews. That's going to attract press. The press are going to cover it more. More coverage probably means more people watching. And you know what I mean? It's like a domino effect. But if Mayweather is not even... First of all, that's not really the problem here. The problem is that he's not getting his guys fights. That's the number one thing. I mean, what good is... If they're not fighting, what good is a press conference? He needs these guys. These guys need to stay active, and it's happening with the PBC as well, which is connected to the Mayweather.
He better not trust Al Heyman so much. Remember, he's technically competition, right? I mean, he is a bit of an extension of the PBC, but there could be a situation that Al Heyman is faced with where Mayweather's doing really good, and maybe when contracts start running out, they're like, fuck that. Why do I need to sign with Al Heyman and Floyd Mayweather? I just signed with Floyd, you know? So there is that. He's got to understand, once you become a promoter, you are competition. That's what you are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, then again, the PBC...
So maybe he has good intentions, but
then again, recognize, don't forget that Al Heyman isn't technically a promoter, so he uses small-time, not small-time, but lower-tier promoters like Lou DiBella. I mean, I'm not saying Lou DiBella is a small, but compared to Golden Boy, Eddie Hearn, and Bob Arum, he's not really... Lou DiBella doesn't have the type of pull that those guys have. So maybe that's what the PBC does. Like, they use real promoters to actually act as the official promoter, but they depend on him as well. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the relationship he's got with the Mayweathers. I don't know.
Maybe instead of like giving certain fighters to Mayweather, he feels more comfortable because he's like, you know, he's really like a promoter type of guy, but you know, technically he's, you know, not. Instead of maybe throwing him Mayweather's way, maybe he's giving it to the other promoters that like work. You know, they work in his favor, and he kind of controls. He controls everything behind the scenes, where maybe he doesn't feel like he could do that with Mayweather, and won't even try because, you know, that's a big name, and maybe Mayweather gets so big he doesn't need Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? Maybe to a certain extent he don't need him.
Maybe that's all we can do is speculate, because I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Al Heyman has an ego of his own, and he wants to keep Mayweather in check. I don't know. You're right. By the way. The Punisher says, I remember one press conference where Mayweather was promoting his strip clubs. I'd love to see an example. I'd love to see that. I'd love to hear a clip of that. By the way, we got Boxing Style on the line. Boxing Style, are you there?
Shout out to all my strip clubs.
Oh, by the way, are there male strip clubs or female, or like, you know, women dancing? Like, I hope he's not promoting male strip clubs. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but...
There's something wrong with that to me.
All right, wait. You're not supposed to say that. Boxing Style, are you there?
Sorry.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
What's up? Good to have you on board,
Is that Boxing Style?
I am a victim of masculinity. And
all right, shut up. Listen. All right, so
Boxing Style. I gotta go, guys.
Oh, yeah, all right, go. See ya.
Boxing Style, you were going at it with Cameron there a little bit. Who Cameron said that he wished you get drunk. He wished you to get drunk and then drown in the toilet. I thought that was a bit...
He said eat cereal and drown the toilet.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Like, man, I'll eat cereal, but I don't know about drowning you in England, bro, because it's too far.
I thought that was a weird way to say... I thought that was a weird way to say hello to somebody. Eat cereal and drown in a toilet. That's I guess that's the way they do it in England. But Boxing Style, good to have you on board. By the way, guys, just give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I gotta go take a piss. But, oops, I didn't mean to say it that way. But, yeah, you guys talk amongst... All right, perfect. You guys take over.
I'll take over from here.
I got something to say to Matrix.
What's up, Boxing Styles? Bring it.
What are you talking about? Floyd has nothing, bro. What are you talking about, man? Floyd is the shit. What nonsense you speaking?
He has nothing. He got nothing.
Floyd is look. Floyd is not like the. I look if. It's not like Triple G. I understand that, but he has a lot to offer I mean, he's done a lot of shit in boxing, bro. Even though he's not as you know, he's fucked up boxing in a lot of ways, but he's also brought a lot of, you know, technique. When people look at him fight, I mean, it's different than a lot of people of the past.
I'm not.
He's just wondering. I mean, you can't deny. Even if he had lost a fight, let's just say hypothetically speaking, let's say he lost a fight, maybe 1 or 2 fights, he would still be. He won't be generating the same amount of money, but he'll still be known as one of the greatest of all time.
I think that Floyd didn't want to take that chance because he knows that with his style, there's a possibility, had he lost with the big mouth that he has, right, that image is not going to sell anymore. And let's face it, that image is what generated a lot of money. It came with the whole, his record is unblemished. You know, he doesn't have a official L on his record. So I think that Mayweather understood that that's what comes with it. Now, if he would have been like a little knockout artist, right? A guy who scores knockouts or beats.
But he was though, initially in his first 10, 20 fights or something.
But I'm talking about when he became Money Mayweather. Who did he knock out?
Yeah, but then it was like he's like, I don't want to injure myself and I want to make more money. Right. I want to act like a bad guy. That's what his whole idea was.
He had 2 knockouts, I believe. If you want to count McGregor, make it 3. Okay, let's make it 3. Okay, and when he was Money Mayweather, and when he became Money, he had about a good 20 fights, I think, or 17 to 20 fights, and he had about 3 knockouts. You know, that's not gonna really. And on top of that, look, he didn't beat the shit out of those guys either. Like most of the guys, he didn't Mayweather's punishing them and broke their eye socket and it had them looking crazy, you know, just landing crazy shots. He barely still talking shit, right? It would have just been hard to sell that he's this.
Yeah, but he's a shit talker no matter what. He ain't no Conor McGregor, that's for sure. Conor McGregor lost. He could lose the next day and he'll be like fucking. He can still sell it. I know he don't got that fucking charismatic shit.
Yeah, because Conor McGregor's got more than Floyd Mayweather. He can knock guys out. Floyd can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, I'll give you this analogy, right? Let's say you're an ass man, right? You love ass. You love a girl with a nice big ass or whatever it is.
This is true.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, let's take a girl that has a flat ass. Which one of those girls are you going to be more attracted to after the fact you found out that they're just whores? Both of them are just whores. Who are you going to be more attracted to and give more of a chance to bang? Like, you're going to pursue to bang them? The girl that has the ass or the flat ass girl?
Can I have both of them?
I mean, you could, but if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
The one with the fat ass, obviously.
Obviously. Okay, so my point is that casual boxing fans and boxing fans in general, they're just more attracted to the killer, the guy who's beating up fighters in the ring. If he has no personality, right?
That's true, man. That's true, because I'm not denying that. I mean, I was showing my dad, what's his name?
URS?
Lomachenko.
Oh.
No, yeah. I said, what's his name? Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux. He's like, what am I watching here? No fucking clue what the fuck he's watching. I'm like, what am I? I'm like, don't you see that? Did you miss that shit? Like, I didn't see anything. He ain't doing anything to him. He was hitting him too fast. I can't do anything to him.
That's a good point.
I know, I got the picture, but still, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good...
Floyd is Floyd, man. Even, I think, lose once, still be fine.
I'm not saying that he would have not sold anything. I think he obviously would have still sold because he's like, you know, he's TMZ, right? Like he's popular. Everybody knows who he is. But I think that when you take the whole package deal that makes him this villain and this hero to some, it's the whole undefeated, you know, record, and on top of that, with his personality, it kind of goes well. Now, can you imagine if he was a knockout artist?
Oh.
And he was undefeated? Holy shit. He'll be the most popular. He'll be the greatest. Like, I don't think you'll get much argument, you know, from people. If he was like a knockout artist on top of that.
Yeah, he was a straight knockout artist with fucking 80% knockout percentage or some shit like
Something
that.
like that. Let's
it
say
would've
like
been
70. Let's say even 75%. Like, what's his record right now?
It's 50. I think 50% knockout ratio.
Okay, so 50% knockout. Let's say it was at 75%. And the guys that he didn't knock out, he like beat the shit out of them or made them run or something like that. You know, then you're talking about one of the greatest ever, and he probably doesn't need that false bravado that he displays all the time. He probably wouldn't need it because he could just prove it in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's like he's moving up weight divisions. His power don't transfer as much, man. That's another thing you got to be considered.
Dude, his power didn't transfer shit. He didn't do anything. It was just like he wasn't even to put dents on people. Like that's at least there's guys who went up and weight, and I don't think it's really because of Floyd had no power. I just think that it had to do with he didn't want to take that risk. You know, he just didn't want to. He wasn't confident enough to, and that's what it comes down to. Because I've heard this argument before. How many people have heard this? If Floyd wanted to, he could knock these guys out. Yeah, right. Like a guy has a choice of knocking you out or going 12 rounds. He's not going to choose the knockout.
Okay, let me ask you this. If he would have put pressure on Guerrero, do you think he could have stopped him?
Yes. He was just a way better boxer than he was. I think he would have stopped him.
Who was it? I didn't hear the question.
Do you think Mayweather, if he would have stepped it up? Guerrero, yeah.
Guerrero, yeah, definitely. Like TKO, yeah, definitely. Or the corner pulls him out. Like Guerrero just outclassed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised why Mayweather chose to fight him that way. I mean, maybe again that was after
didn't he break his hand or shoulder or something?
I don't know. I also think that was because it was after the Cotto fight, and I think after that fight he said, "Fuck, I'm never gonna be in another struggle like that one again." And he just decided to mail it in.
In the Guerrero fight, he broke his hand, didn't he?
I don't know. He always says that. He says he breaks his hand all the time, but I mean,
it was the Castillo fight that he broke his hand that I know of. That's the one that changed everything.
Apparently, he said he broke his hand in the Guerrero fight. That's why he didn't go for the knockout.
Whatever.
Yeah,
listen.
He did use that. He said I fractured my hand. You know, I tried to go for it, and I was, you know, I fractured my hand. You know, that's why I happened.
But you know,
but no. Go ahead,
yeah, we're talking about big stars and all that. I'm surprised Roy Jones wasn't a bigger star. Then again, that was because he was fighting bums between 98 and 2002. Well, bums. I mean, you know what I mean. Like he was mailing it in too himself, going to decisions and all that. This was a guy, he had that it factor that you could take a casual and some of the things that Roy Jones did would make him go, whoa. Like even they could recognize that it was special. Lomachenko has a bit of that, even though he's not icing people in the first 3-4 rounds. But definitely Lomachenko has that factor where when people can look at him and go, wow, even the casuals will love it. Errol Spence, yeah, he's not as explosive as Errol, as Lomachenko. He's not moving around as much, but he's a comfort. He reminds me, he can be in the Tito Trinidad level. You know what I mean? A guy that casual boxing fans like, and that casual fans can get interested in because he's a comfort fighter who likes to bang it out.
Lomachenko, can I say something? Lomachenko can't even be compared to any one of these guys. Lomachenko is on a whole different level, man. Like, for real, like, who does 3 titles, 3 different weight divisions in about 11 fights, 11 to 12 fights? It's ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
It's insane. Like, and the way he beats him and his, like, stature.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say that. Like, it's not so much the weight classes. It's the way, to me at least, it's the way he beats these guys, like the level of skill versus the other fighter. And we can't use he's fighting bums because, no, he's fighting good names. I don't care what you think about Rigo, whether you think he was too small or not. He made him look like shit. Like he made him quit, man. He made the dude say, fuck this. I'm not gonna take any more of this for 12 rounds and then maybe get stopped even before that, you know. So I'm not going to take that risk. I'm just going to quit. And then we see him go up against Linares, a guy who's bigger than him. and he gets knocked down, gets back up, and drops him with a body shot. All the time coming forward, just coming forward versus a bigger guy. So I think it's more of the skill set, right? Like he doesn't have that one punch, I'll get you out of there power. Although I think he could. I mean, I think he's proven he can ice you with a shot, especially if he places it perfect and you don't see it coming. But more than anything, it's his skill set. He like really sets himself apart from his opponents today.
Well, the impressive part.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ain't just that, man. It's the fact that he's willing to challenge anybody. I like Triple G, or I'm a big fan of Triple G, man. I love Triple G. I put Triple G. I'm a bigger fan of Triple G than Lomo, but I put Lomo over Triple G because the fact that he's willing to doesn't matter what situation he's in, he's gonna call him out. You know, like he's gonna do it. That's the difference between Lomo and everyone else, every single one else.
You know what? I think that has to do with the fact. I think Triple G knows that going up in weight, especially at this stage in his career, it's not the best idea. Because, you know, he's not that quick. He's got very good precision and good power, but he goes up in weight. Maybe he loses a little bit of that power, and I don't think he can decisively outbox a lot of guys in that division. So I think that's. Meanwhile, Lomachenko, he's usually faster, more mobile than everybody else. So I think he could have an easier time moving up through weight divisions the way he did it essentially, than if Triple G were to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense, but by the way, Pavel, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you there? Calling Pavel. Pavel.
You two just need to get ass fucked.
All right. What's his name?
No, I was just hanging out in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. Precise made a video. He's moving away from making boxing videos a little bit, and he made a video about vampirism. And you had to read. You had to read in between the lines about what he was getting at. But in the comment section, some people were saying that if you drink blood, you know, it can be dangerous because of the iron intake and all that. But is it me, or didn't I read a study?
I drink blood.
You drink? Yeah, I saw that comment that you left there too, that your uncle shoved blood in your mouth, or what happened?
No. My grandfather used to give me goat blood.
Oh, okay.
Goat blood.
Much different.
So he would. To my grandfather, it was something he did a lot. He gave it to me a few times, and I never liked the taste. It was. He said it was good for me.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you El Chupacabra?
That's me.
Chupacabra.
That's me.
That's what every time. That's why when the Chupacabra came out, people were saying that he liked to talk boxing, and I said, "Well, how does a Chupacabra like to talk?" Now I get it. It was boxing. It was recognized the Matrix. But yeah. So my question, Pavel, was: isn't there an enzyme or something in your stomach that breaks down certain elements of the blood so that it doesn't? Because people were saying, "Oh, you know, if there's adrenaline in the blood, you're gonna absorb it." Can you absorb adrenaline through the stomach?
Yes.
I don't think so. Adrenaline is in the pure hormonal stuff. I don't think you can get it like you can get it externally, of course, but not like through blood. I don't think so.
I mean, I know it's a difficult.
I remember from my physiology class that you can't really do that. It has to be broken down. It's a protein, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm curious about some people, because Precise said that he drank blood from an animal and that he felt, exhilarated or something by it. But and then somebody in the comment section said, "Well, that's because it might be a psychosomatic effect, meaning it's placebo effect." But I mean, I don't know where to go with that. I do know for a fact that people dropped off. All right, I'll wait for
finally be there. We have a moment together.
All right, the way you said that boxing style, the way you said that, creepy as fuck, man. Creepy as fuck.
Too bad. I don't care what you want. Get down there and eat my ass. And eat my fucking ass.
Oh, sorry, I tapped into Cameron's private message collection. All right, so everybody back. Oh, we got 100% X on the line. 100% X. Are you there?
Yeah, I just want to say that Recognize the Matrix is, I told you, he's part of the Illuminati. He eats blood. I think he drinks baby blood. I told you about this motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like him. Now you know why I don't like him.
And he also just admitted to being the chupacabra. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he's down with that nigga, the chupacabra motherfucker. Yeah, he's down with that dude.
The chupacabra motherfucker. Oh, man.
I told all of y'all. I told all of y'all. Recognize as part of the Illuminati. He does blood sacrifice, and he's trying to kidnap me. I try to tell you this. This is why I don't. This is why I don't talk to him. He bailed me out because he wanted to sacrifice my blood.
Did he
Your
try?
ex always check your neck for like dots and stuff, man.
That's true. That's true.
I check my neck for everything. I do a thorough checkup on myself. I'm good. I'm 100% healthy.
You notice you're losing weight, man. You get a checkup.
Nah, man, I'm gaining weight. I'm 185 pounds, solid.
Solid fat or?
Okay, we're fine then.
I'm 5'9" and 185 pounds. I'm like a little bull.
You're like a James Stone.
Like 5'9" and 300 pounds and shit.
100% X. I gotta give you credit for being able to read people. You certainly had recognized peg down to a T, and so big ups to you for that one, man.
I told you. Now I gotta get out of here because you know my acid reflux is acting up again.
By the way, recognize there was a rapper that I forgot the guy's name. He was just recently murdered. Stay safe out there in those streets, man. A lot of enemies out there looking to shoot somebody down.
Yeah, some people thought it was me. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in New York, man. This happened in Florida.
Oh, okay, there you go.
You know, I feel bad for the kid. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for him, but I had nothing to do with it, and it's not me. I'm not dead.
Exactly.
That's recognized. Spreading rumors. That motherfucker. I'm telling you, man. He's a goat eater. He's a goat eater. Recognize the goat eater.
But
Cops is sending APB on X and shit.
Exactly. X, for the young hustlers out there, the young players who are knee deep in the game, what advice would you give them? Because you've been around the block a couple of times. What advice would you give them to stay out there alive and have some longevity in their careers?
They got to know how to connect the dots, like I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm always connecting dots.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't trust many people.
All right. All right. 100% X.
Like I told you, right? Like
yeah.
I spotted out, recognized the Matrix, and I told you, this motherfucker's down with the blood sacrifices. He does all those things. That's why I didn't thank him when he bailed me out. I knew what he was up to, that motherfucker.
He was trying to get your plasma, is what you're saying. He was trying to get that plasma.
Exactly.
I had a feeling that Recognize was a Mason.
Yeah,
Mason. Man.
He's a dirty Mason. Dirty motherfucker.
Probably got 666 tattooed to his ass and shit.
Yeah, and his ass or his balls.
What does he have to be his ass? Like,
he's either got it on his ass or he's got it on his balls. One of the
All right. Yeah. It's a family show. It's a family show. This isn't going the way I planned it. But
all right, I'll get out of here. I don't want to get you BDA. I don't want to get you in trouble. Okay. Plus, my acid reflux is flaring up again, so I gotta get out of here.
And stop drinking that chocolate mooch, man. I tell you, over there in New York, I don't know why the brothers are always drinking that chocolate mooch. Lay off it, man.
No, it's not that, man. It's a white man's disease, and this only happened to me when the white man started coming after me. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All my life, I ate cheese. I drank milk. I didn't have no problems. Now, I got fucking acid reflux when the white man started coming after me.
You got to stay away from that Cameron diet, bro.
What is the Cameron diet?
Cameron alone, you Armenian coon.
What cheese? What the? Oh man! All right, X, you're starting to piss off everybody here, making a lot of enemies. You don't want to end up. You don't want to end up like XXX Tentacion, which is the name of the rapper that just recently got gunned down. So stay safe out there, X.
I'm not French, so I don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You know those French dudes, they always have problems. Okay, so.
Oh man! All right. Well, always good to talk to you, X.
My brothers.
Peace out, man. Stay safe out there in those cold streets. All right, so that was 100% X chiming in as always, keeping us up to date of what's going down in the streets, and yeah, that's another.
Did you guys see that game today? Besides
Which one?
the fighting, did you guys see the game today?
Which game?
Sweden versus Germany.
I only caught the last 5 minutes.
Sweden.
Man.
No, I was working all day. Don't ruin it.
Okay, that's all I gotta say, dude. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. And tomorrow,
I was working like 11 hours straight. Well, not straight. I was working 11 hours today.
11 hours straight?
I had an hour. No, not straight. I had a 1 hour break.
So you had 11 hours of
12 hours
blowjobs
until 1 hour break.
So you had 11 hours of...
Shaking your thumb outside the street?
Shaking his ass outside the street, yeah.
Fuck you, sisters.
What are you...
Said cereal.
Apology. What are you...
No, I was at the bar.
Oh, at a bar. You work at a bar? A go-go bar, or...
Just a normal bar. Those drinks, nothing fancy.
Isn't a go-go bar a gay bar?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I got the joke. That's why I ignored it. Because it wasn't a good one.
Oh, you cunt! What a cunt! I can't believe that. Él se la va a meter por el culo.
All right, that's enough. All right, so you worked 11 hours straight. That's hard work ethic right there. Apology, you're on the right track. Let me tell you that much right now. But you gotta get yourself a girl. But you gotta get yourself a girlfriend. Look at Cameron. He's going around town, getting going on dates and all that. You need to do that. Enjoy yourself a little bit, not working all the time.
Man. I don't like spending money, especially on women.
Oh,
very what's the word? Frugal.
Yeah, frugal. That's a fancy word for cheap.
Yeah, very cheap.
You don't have to spend money necessarily on a woman. I mean, you can do it on a budget. Boxing style. You've been around the block a couple of times. Could you set him straight, man?
I'll probably invite her around the house. Cook something cheap.
What's that?
Invite her around the house, cook something cheap, and then get on with it.
All right. Well, listen, it's your life. You do what you gotta do.
The way to go is spend accordingly, but not cheap.
Well, he doesn't. But he says he doesn't want to go out with a woman because then he's going to have to spend money. And I'm telling him that that's not necessarily the case.
If the bitch asks for like something really expensive and it's way off, you're like just say, oh, maybe next time. Well, maybe like the Christmas.
First of all, I got to stop you right there.
Bro, why are you going out?
Huh?
Boxing styles. Do you have your own house? Why are you going out? Just bring her to your house and cook.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Like I'm talking about like, when she wants something to buy, like a purse or some bullshit like that. Yeah, just milk it out. Like,
you shouldn't be. No, you shouldn't be around that long.
You're talking about motherfucking. What are you doing? I don't know.
Here and quit, man.
Oh, you're like one of those. Okay, I see.
No.
The MGTOW lifestyle.
Yeah, you could definitely find that easy.
That's not the MGTOW.
Apology.
Anyway, I don't even know. I don't even know if the MGTOWs do it that way. By the way, whatever you do when you go up to a girl, don't use this as your opening line.
I can lay you out and fill your mouth with your mother's feces.
All right, don't ever go up to a woman and just say that as your opening line. All right, trust me.
At least she will react to that. At least she will react to that. Not like 200 other guys who tell her that she's pretty.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, she'll react to that. I mean, when you get 200 guys telling one girl oh, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, she's like, yeah, bye. When you tell her, listen, I'll smash your face in, something like that. She'll be like, whoa, what the fuck was that about?
Nah, I just go up straight up and tell them like, you butt ugly, but you'll do. But she'll be like, fine.
Boxing styles be like, I'll drown you in cereal. Well, I hit you from behind.
I'll suffocate you in your own little Cheerios, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah, while hitting you from behind.
Too big. You won't be able to do that.
By the way, this is the best.
I'm talking about the girl.
By the way, this is the best line for.
By the way,
all right, what?
Fuck X, all right? I'm not part of no fucking Illuminati or drinking blood or anything like that. That's not true.
But the question is, do you have a tattoo or 666 on the ass or something like that? I heard something.
Recognize, you just admitted you admitted that you used to drink blood with your grandfather. Come on, why are we supposed to glean from that, huh? Everything was hunky dory. Nah,
Dracula here.
that's right.
Nah, that's not true, man.
The Puerto Rican Dracula. That's what you are. The Puerto Rican
Overhand
Dracula.
in the chat room says boxing style would order cereal on a date.
That's
Can I have a
true, he
little
would.
bit?
But he's
I'll
gonna get
definitely
that.
tip for that day.
But he's gonna get that fancy milk. You know, that fancy organic milk from a cow that cost $3,000 to upkeep a day or something. Or maybe one of those Canelo cows. You know, the cows that look like Canelo Alvarez on roids. Maybe that's the type of cow he's going for. By the way, this is one of the best lines.
I can imagine Matrix asking for a drink. Can I have some blood? Some goat blood, please?
Oh, and then he throws the Illuminati sign. You know, the spot thing there or whatever the fuck it is.
I usually throw the goat sign after that.
Do you drink the blood cold or warm? Do you warm in the microwave or something?
That's a good question.
I mean, I didn't serve it up. It was my grandfather. He gave it to me warm.
It's supposed to be warm. When it's coming off the animal, it's going to be warm.
Now let me ask you this.
That's so weird afterwards.
Recognize, how do you know it was actual blood? Because I remember when my uncle, you would ask him for wine and he would give you grape juice and you thought that was wine. Maybe he was giving you V8 juice, tomato juice, and you thought it was actual blood all this time, but it was actually just tomato juice.
So you think my grandfather fooled me is what you're saying?
You never know.
There's a chance.
You did tell us that story out Second Renaissance about your grandfather haunting you from beyond the grave. So he sounds like a bit of a prankster to me. I don't know. I'm just saying.
That was a different grandfather. This is my grandfather on my father's side. Now,
okay. He
had this weird thing about drinking blood, and it was pretty known from like my father told me about it. He was like, "Yeah, your grandfather drinks goat blood." Jeez,
Louise.
I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like you stay around him long enough, you'll see. He's gonna give you some.
Is it like straight African tradition or something?
My grandfather's not African, so I don't know. I don't know if it was, but I mean, I don't know where he got that from. But that's weird. It's just weird that it was a good topic.
If Precise says it, then I might as well try it once in a while.
No, it's not for me. I mean, listen, I'm not knocking. I'm not saying that it. Just when it's weird because I said in the comment, the whole concept of drinking some fucking dead animal's blood is just weird to me. But then again, I have no problem eating chicken, right? Like, just make me some chicken or some pork chops, or as long as you cook it right, I can eat that.
That's that primal shit, man. Drinking blood and stuff. I mean, I could imagine myself as a Neanderthal doing that shit, but I don't know. Civilized.
And by the way, you're not eating. Yeah, exactly. You're not eating the chicken raw or anything. You're eating it.
But they have no problem giving you blood transfusions if you need it, right? Like.
Yeah, but you're not licking it up. You're not licking it up from the floor or something,
Pie-facial.
And by the way, I got a question. If you're drinking chilled blood, like something that just came out of the freeze, the fridge or something, when you drink it all, at the end, do you go like if you just drink a cold beer or something, or is it a different type of drink?
Every time I eat cereal, I do that.
Yeah. And every time Pavel kills a girl, he does that. I feel like God now. I feel like a superior being. And by the way, we actually have a recording of Recognize the Matrix in his grandfather's house. All right. Is that the soundtrack that was going in the background? Before you drank the blood.
Come here, my son. The cup of
How did you get that?
Oh, we've got contacts. Trust me, we've got contacts. All right, so you guys don't see anything. Yeah, like you're neutral on the whole blood drinking thing.
Yeah. If people want to look, I've drank it before, like 3 times maybe. Yeah, 3 times.
All right. And you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Well, no. Apology. Do you believe that a woman can suck your psychic energy off of you?
Suck your psychic energy.
Just asking random questions here.
yeah, especially when I came.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a family show, guys. What's going on here? It's a family show. By the way, I got, we were talking about opening lines or what do you do with a girl on a date? Like, apology, doesn't want to spend a lot of money. This is great advice from the movie Rocky. One of the most underrated lines of the movies when Rocky's asking, I forgot the guy's name, the mafia guy, like where he should take Adrian out on a first date, and the driver says,
"Take it to the zoo. I hear retards like the zoo."
Oh, that's the retards love the zoo.
There's a one-liner. There's a one-liner. When you mentioned that, it reminded me of a one-liner. It's like my wife asked me, "I want to go somewhere that I've never been before." He's like, "Go to the kitchen."
No, yeah, that's an old one. That's an old one. That was actually in the movie Goodfellas, right? That stand-up comic. I think it was a real stand-up comic where he goes.
Yeah. How the fuck did you remember that shit, man? That's like that came out of my mind. I didn't know it was from the movie though.
Well, no, I mean the guy, he was a real comic, and he used that routine in his stand-up routine, and then they hired him for a little part in Goodfellas, and I think that's where most people have heard that one. And besides, I've watched that movie fucking 1,000 times, so that's why I remember that part. I don't think the mafia movies, like for example, The Godfather, they did romanticize it a little bit. With Goodfellas, they did try to make it cool as well, but at least the ending, they show you that the three possibilities of how you end up in jail, you end up dead, or if you're a snitch, you end up in ordering spaghetti and they give you noodles with ketchup, as he says in the end, So I don't know about you guys, but I think Goodfellas is.
Oh wait! The snitch lived was on witness protection, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was all right. He was living in a nice house.
But that's the thing.
Watch his back though.
He didn't like it. He didn't like that lifestyle. He wanted the high life, the fast-paced, go anywhere you want, go walk up to a restaurant or a club. You don't even have to wait in line. Like that's what he wanted. He liked the lifestyle.
Yeah, but he was like a pussy in that movie.
Yeah, that's what they were. That's why somebody said. Like somebody said, it's not because it's based on Henry Hill, right? The real. Or is that his real
Henry
name?
Hill.
Yeah, Henry Hill. And they always, like in the movie, every time something happens, it's almost like he's on the periphery. Like when they beat up Billy Bats, and he's like, he's surprised that they're beating him up, and then he goes, closes the door, and he helps them carry the body out. But like he didn't take part in the beating or anything. Or when Spider gets shot, and he goes to check up. Like he never actually does anything that illegal in the movie other than that he's selling coke. But you never see him shooting anybody, killing anybody. The worst he does is
Tommy D. What about when Tommy D played that prank on him, in the beginning of the movie? Remember when he's like, "Funny how? Like I'm retarded when I talk. What do you mean by I'm funny?"
Right.
Yeah, that was the epic scene.
Just the way you say it. No, I don't know how you said it. You said it, motherfucker. Tell me how I'm funny.
I wouldn't call him a complete pussy, but he had the pussy vibe to him.
Yeah, exactly right. Not a complete pussy, but he's like, shit. I hope I don't have to get into a fight with him.
I think they had to do that. I think they had to do that because they needed the guy's participation, the real life character for the movie. It was based on his story and all that. So I think he said, "Listen, don't portray me as a guy that killed people and all that." Like he wanted to leave the benefit of the doubt that all he did was beat a couple of people up, sold cocaine, and that's it. Like he never murdered a guy. He never murdered a waiter or anything like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it falls perfect with his character. At the end, he's the one that flipped, right? So it's like, in a way, I kind of don't blame why he flipped because he looked like they were gonna kill him anyway.
Right.
But at the same time, there's like there's like this honor code. It's like, look, there's gonna be good times, and there might be bad times, and that's when we're expecting for you not to, not to fold, and basically he did,
Well, that's actually what he says. What's his name? Joe Pesci's character. What's his name again? I'm blanking out
Tommy
here. What's
D.
going on? Tommy. Yeah, Tommy. When he's doing that famous
You said you watched this movie like 1,000 times.
That's why I said I'm blanking out. I'm forgetting the name. I'm forgetting all the names nowadays, man. Jeez. But anyway, when he goes in that scene where he goes, it's funny how like a clown. He actually says at the end when it turns out it's a prank. He goes, "I worry about you, Henry. You might fall under questioning," and that's what he did in the end. He ended up flipping. So there's a bit of foreshadowing there. A bit of foreshadowing there.
That was a great movie.
Absolutely. You can watch it 1,000 times and forget the names like I do. Somebody's in the chat. People are saying, Overhand asks, wait, Roy Jones's dad ate his dog? No, that was Pacquiao. Pacquiao's dad killed the dog and served it up as dinner. Roy only shot the dog. Roy Jones Sr. shot the dog because the dog bit one of his, I think his nephew, his grandson or something.
Sister.
Yeah, right.
I think it bit Roy's sister.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so he pulled the trigger on the dog, and Roy Jr. never forgave him for it. But it was Pacquiao's father that he was watching. He was feeding that dog pellets and all that, buttering him up, getting him nice and plump, and then wham, Lassie's up for dinner. That's the way it's done in the Philippines, man. They eat dogs over there. It's not like in the United States or even Canada. Like, oh, the dog, he's part of the family. Yeah, he's part of the family until you're starving to death. Then it's time to serve him up for dinner. Put an apple in his mouth like a pig, and it's time for a feast, baby. That's the way they do it.
I wonder what dog tastes like.
Actually, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Delicious.
I've tasted crocodile out of exotic meats.
Oh, that's cruel,
crocodile
man.
and thing. It tastes like chicken, like a seafood chicken. Like,
You guys ever?
It's weird. It's like.
You guys ever eat endangered condor? An endangered condor. Who? A condor. You know those animals that are endangered? Those big birds, huge fucking birds. I think it's the biggest bird alive.
Ostrich?
No, not an ostrich. But listen, the more dangerous the
I ate an
animal.
ostrich too, man.
Oh yeah, that one they say you can eat ostrich burgers. I would have loved to know what a dodo, which is also extinct, would have tasted like. I'm pretty sure delicious because they wiped them off the face of the earth. They must have been that delicious, right?
Yeah, they were like the McDonald's of back in the day.
Yeah, can I get a McDodo, please? No cheese.
Or maybe that's what McDonald's is serving us. We don't know.
All right. What? Let's say McDonald's, because as bad as it is for your health, it does taste good because of all the artificial things they put in there. What if they ever came out and said, listen, the secret ingredient for McDonald's is human flesh? Would you keep eating it based on how good it tastes, or would you be repulsed by the fact that it's human?
I would.
You would, or you would?
If it's good and it's healthy, then yes, I would.
Listen. If it's X, I'm all in.
But the problem with eating like human meat and stuff in Africa, they have the section of where they eat like all different type of primates and shit, and people end up getting diseases from eating primates. Not from other meat. I mean, other meats too. Possibly you can get it because they don't do that FDA thing over here like we do in America or anywhere else.
You're kidding.
They just cut the meat up, cook it up. Yeah, they do. There's like black market. Well, I would call it maybe black market. I guess it's probably black market. If you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Black market meat selling. All kinds of animals, elephants, you name it, and the ones that they get diseases from, like the E. coli virus, not Ebola virus. My bad.
Oh, Ebola. Yeah,
it's from a primate. Yeah, it was from a primate. I don't know what primate it was. Like I forgot, but it was from a primate.
Yeah, they eat monkeys. I don't think they eat chimpanzees. I think it's the actual fucking monkey. And by the way, there was a theory that they said, again, I'm going conspiracy theory here, but I don't have any proof. But there were people out there saying that the Ebola virus was created in a laboratory, and because how did monkeys get it? Blah blah blah. I don't know. All I know is what Boxing Still said. If you go there to Africa and you go to those black market things and you start eating like monkeys. Oh, by the way, I saw footage in the documentary that like what Boxing Still is talking about. They got pieces of monkey all over the place. There's flies all over the place. It looks disgusting. If you eat there, you deserve everything you get, man. Let me just put it that way. Fuck.
Exactly. They're like black charred fucking meat and shit at the same time. Right. Just to make sure they remove all the diseases from the meat.
And they don't even season it, I think. That's the worst part. They don't even, that's a sin right there. You want to kill a monkey, all right, fine. But no seasoning, that's a fuck you, man. Go fuck yourself, get Ebola, get some AIDS.
The char is the seasoning.
Yeah, that's carcinogenic as well if you char it too much. So, I mean, listen, they're doing it all wrong there in Africa. They've been doing it wrong for years. They need to get their act together. The Chinese ain't going to save them. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but hey, what do you want from me? 100% access in the chat room says, apologize is down with recognize the devil. That's why recognize tried to kidnap me, sell me to apologize the Satanist. Apologize, are you a Satanist? Is that what's going on here?
Not Satanist, but I think I'm possessed by a demon. I say things I don't mean.
You're possessed by a MGTOW demon. That's for sure.
What you need, what you need is a shrink that's also an exorcist.
Exactly. You listen. I apologize. You need to get laid. Go out there, get laid, and that'll you'll calm the demon right out of you. That's the way it works.
And then you dip in your pants and pull out a piece of peanut butter or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he was. Or was that Reverse Lee who said? Anyway, by the way, there's an article that said that if you know the double dipping, the famous double dipping from the Seinfeld episode where you don't grab a chip, bite it, and then pull it back in the dip. Well, they're saying now that there's so many sexual diseases out there that if you actually double dip and you have a venereal disease, you could actually transmit it to people by double dipping. So don't double dip, all right, motherfuckers? Nobody wants your syphilis or your gonorrhea or whatever else the fuck they got, all right? Stop double dipping. Now you got a real reason not to do it, fucking pigs. Guys, we're close to 3 hours now. I think it's about time to call it a night. I'm gonna try to stay up and watch the
Yeah, I can't promise you anything. Not playing.
Yeah, listen, if you're putting your ass in the dip, then obviously that's how people are gonna get something. But the fact that the fact that people's mouths are so full of bacteria now to the point where they can transmit, like, what are we, Komodo dragons now? I'm telling you, humanity is going down, and that's why I think Apology has the right idea of, you know what? Stay home, go out with a hooker every once in a while, a high class one, and that's the way it goes. Pop-Tart asks, was Seinfeld ever funny? Well, listen, humor is subjective. I don't know about you. Most people thought it was one of the greatest shows ever in terms of comedy. So I would venture to say that, yeah, it was funny. Guys, anything else you want to say?
I got a question to Apology. What's a high-class whore for Apology? I'm curious. $5, $10?
No, I don't spend no money at all. Just bring them over to your house, cook them a cheap meal, and get over with.
Good job.
Well, there you go. BDA Boxing answering the tough questions. What is a high-class whore go for nowadays? Anybody else want to...
Don't go for a high class. They're not worth it.
They're not worth it.
I don't know. Don't ask me how I know that, but it's like $500 now.
It's too much.
How do you know this?
It really is. Just find it cheap. Listen, there's plenty of women that will give it up for free, man.
It's crazy though. You nut once for $500 and it's all over.
You know something? Look, man, I never understood that. Like, look. Okay, maybe this is gonna sound a little weird. I was always more into like the chase of like conquering a girl, like getting her on, tricking her. In other words, you know, like, hey, listen, I'm a great guy. I'm a great guy. You know, you should give me a chance. I think you should give me a chance. I take them out, you know, and maybe I'm spending money. I'm wasting a lot of time. Like, some pull out, some money. And be like, listen, baby, right here, come back home. I'm saying, but I never understood that. I never went straight money to. That's fuck.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen.
Yeah, it's
like.
Listen. If you're pretty goddamn ugly, okay then. I feel for you. But the thing is, so often is really fucking retarded.
You reckon it's like foreplay, isn't it? You're teasing, and then you finally get, and then it feels better.
Yeah. It was. I was more into like the whole. All right, this girl's gonna make me work for it. When I get her, I'm gonna pound her out and, see if she wants to do it again. And usually they do. They like that. But to just give them money, and I get it to a certain extent, man, because it's like, okay, here's the deal. I give you money, you leave. So that kind of thing, I could understand it, but I just never really thought about that.
Pop-Tart Gone in the chat room says, a trick buys what a real man acquires from a woman for free. That's a quote from Iceberg Slim, the legendary pimp from I believe the 1970s? Was it that? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, there's plenty of ways to go about it. You can do it the traditional way. You can do it the chivalric way. You can do it the Recognize the Matrix way, which is with masking tape and ropes. And I mean, listen, there's all sorts of things out there for everybody. What works for...
I'm Iceberg Slim. That's me.
No, is X Iceberg Slim the new one? The 2018 version?
Yes.
All right, there you go. All right, listen, guys. I'm starting to get a little sleepy here. I want to try to get it... I want to try to stay awake for the Berchelt versus Barros fight, but also I think... But it's at 11 p.m. Eastern, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay up for that one. Hopefully you guys can catch it. I want to thank everybody again for joining us here. It was a pretty good show, talking about Josh Taylor versus Postol. And that's about all. Then we went down memory lane in terms of other boxing fights. But for the most part, yeah, we talked a little bit of trash here and there. I want to thank everybody again for joining us. I want to thank Cameron, who was here earlier. I want to thank Recognize the Matrix. Oh shit, what's going on here? Yeah, I want to thank Recognize the Matrix.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Absolutely, always. Pavel, I want to thank Boxing Style. Apology Man.
You're welcome.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey man, did you notice that Mexico made it?
Well, they made it. I hope they beat Sweden in their next match. I hope they don't take it easy.
They'll win.
And by the way,
make it, man. It's gonna be Mexico and Germany.
Yeah, I think so. I think Germany pulled off a miracle in the last in overtime. Pavel,
yeah, they did.
Poland here. Pavel already left, but Poland is playing Colombia tomorrow, and I do think that Poland absolutely needs to get themselves some points in here because didn't they lose their first match?
I'm not a fan of Colombia.
You're not?
I hope Poland beats Colombia. I mean, I have a friend that's Colombian, but
you're not a fan of the country.
I just piss his ass off.
You're not a fan of the country, but you are a fan of their product, right?
Well, as a player?
No, of their product.
Teams?
No. I'm talking about
pretty
the
good,
white.
as in like skill or what?
Nah, I'm talking about their product.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Took you a while, motherfucker. All right. So again, Apology Man, thank you for joining us, and everybody else. Now, if you want to jump off, I'm just gonna thank everybody in the chat room. Some funny people in the chat room. I'll tell you that much right now. People were making me laugh during the whole podcast as well. Want to give a shout out to.
I'm out too, man.
All right, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Want to give a shout out to Uncle Burnt apostrophe Pop-Tart Gone. Oh man, I'm falling asleep here. What's going on? Uncle Burnt apostrophe Pop-Tart Gone, the Fight Scout, Gorguruga. Pavel was in there, Overhand, the Punisher. Who else do we have? Aaron Kuko, Pop-Tart Gone. Then we had Boxing Is Me. We also had Roddy Davies, Reese Mack, Brandon White, Chris Gonzalez, Wheat Degree, The Quags, Don't Know, and many more people. Can't name them all. You guys know who you are. Thanks for making this the best podcast, boxing podcast, at least on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our Patreon page. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit those buttons. And we will see you in the next one, folks. Take care. That's right. Take care.